Welcome back to another Ab Nation live at Tonight Show with the hockey coach, local FRENCHY, directly from the beautiful country of Thailand. And we have to go all the way to find a co-host of the Ab Nation, Mr. ENORTAP. Knock the door is ready to rock and roll the show tonight.
Hello, Coach. Hello, Hockey Nation. We're at
Hopefully an amazing, great weekend, Mr. ENORTAP, with no hockey yesterday night. What happening with you? I think your wife took advantage of that. By the way, we want to wish a happy birthday to your wife. It looked like it's the birthday
Thank
today.
you. It was on Thursday, even though we went out on Friday for a nice dinner and wonderful dinner. And and this weekend she put me to work.
So she said, you are 8 o'clock tonight. I see you enough for the weekend. You have to go do something else.
I said, but everything has to stop for 9 o'clock.
Here we go. That's the way to do that. By the way, we want hopefully your daughter doing well. We know she have something happen to her. So hopefully she's doing well. Speed recovery to her. But and many others in the chat, like Jose Duarte, we have Roger Delaney, André Robert, Drouin, Richard Mullen. We talked about Ross Stubbington. I think there are some. If we miss some people, Mr. ENORTAP, possible. But otherwise, we wish the best for everyone to recovery. This show is without with only because you and me will be not great because we need people and the people are already in the chat, Mr. ENORTAP. We're going to turn around very quickly to welcome everybody. Tonight, Mr. ENORTAP, we talk about the Let's Talk Abs like we do every Sunday night. Become a really good show the Sunday night. We keep up. And then we're going to talk about tonight, Mr. ENORTAP, what's next for the Montreal Canadiens. Use homework. We're going to go through a little bit more. This morning, we did the shows called the Ab Branch, You Sunday Rendezvous with Marco Larabé, and we talk about the overview of the season. So tonight, we try to get another ways. And the reason we talk that way is because this week start the playoff, Mr. ENORTAP. NHL, we know the first round is every night and the second round too, all the way to the end. So I'm getting busy so not much Ab Nation. Possible maybe add only one time per week the Sunday night if it's possible. If not, we're going to skip it until we have a possibility to talk about the Montreal Canadiens. But we're going to consider to do some kind of Ab daily news that's on the week, maybe 3 times per week to keep up a little bit fresh what's going on with the Montreal Canadiens. So there's a little bit more happening, and everybody asking me, Coach, what you doing for the playoff? Because I wait for the schedule, Mr. ENORTAP. I could not do anything about this. So.
And you got it.
Now, possibly I do a double header at the beginning. I'm not sure yet. We'll see. But Boston Panthers and tomorrow the Kings and the Oilers will be maybe my 2-1. Then after that, we're flipping with Colorado Avalanche and the New York Rangers. And then sometime the Toronto Maple Leafs. The first 4 games of the playoff. Then you have some kind of shifting. You have a rules in NHL between game number 4 to 5. The team have to have 3 days, so it's like not play every 2 games. Every 2 nights you have a game. Between 4 and 5, you have to go to 3 days. So I'll give a chance to changing the schedule and finishing where we add game 5, 6, and 7. But we'll be all over the map during the next couple of weeks. This is the biggest season for me to be a live streaming. So can't wait to have as many of you guys with me join. And we invite you, Mr. ENORTAP, and you and many of you to join our bracket playoff NHL. You go to the website called nhl.com/bracket. And then you're looking for join the league. The name is Ab Nation. So maybe a moderator or someone in the chat would like to do this, or maybe do it later. Join the bracket, everything like that. So that's happening, Mr. ENORTAP. But before we welcome everybody, I have one more thing, if you don't mind. I don't know, but did you hear about DANY recently, or do you know what's going on with DANY? Or
you mean Elvis? Yes.
He's doing well. Okay, I don't know what happened, but hear what happening, Mr. ENORTAP.
Okay,
not that one over there. I tried to get him right away here. This is DANY, guys, and the green room of the Hockey Nation Live Show. He turned around to be really green. Now he's stuck over there for the last couple of days. We tried to put him on at some point, but you can see DANY, Mr. ENORTAP, on that situation. He's become Mr. Green. We have a blue man, or we have a green man now, Mr. ENORTAP. DANY, the green man, right there. Mr. ENORTAP, you want to know what I did to me? Do you want to know what happened to me this weekend?
Yeah, you got soaking wet, I hear.
Here we go. This is me live, guys, during the weekend. at the Socran 2023. This is a little bit a preview, Mr. Tap, what's going to happen in my next video of the Frenchy and Thailand. And it was just a warm up. This is the
Just
biggest
a warm up.
problem. This is just a warm up this weekend. We celebrate, but the biggest days are the 18, 19, and 20. And I'm going live inside of this mess, Mr. Natap. Everywhere it's really crazy. I enjoyed my first time over there, and then I did that, and then I have another video about my tuk-tuk ride, Mr. Natap, during the
Oh
celebration.
no.
Unbelievable to see people send water on the tuk-tuk. You're going to enjoy it. You have the time to watching the beach at the same time. So a lot of great videos coming.
Sounds
I'll visit
good.
the Sanctuary of the True. It's a big temple made by hands and wood, Monsieur Natap. For years and years and years, they continue to build this unbelievable experience. I've been there. So this was my weekend, Monsieur Natap. And then didn't
That's
sleep a lot.
amazing.
And was a
It's
great
okay.
overall. So, like people in the chat, Mr. Tap,
Sleeping
we have to
sometimes
go
is
there.
all right.
We're getting there, Mr. Tap. Don't worry, everybody. Thanks to join us tonight at the great show. Don't forget to click on the like. That'd be great if you can do this. And Mr. Tap is going to answer all your questions tonight. He is live for you. Larry Lavalley directly for Ducks Tucson in Arizona is in the house.
Hey, welcome, Larry.
Then we have Dan Asham from Manitoba. Mr. Tap is in the house with Colette. Welcome back.
Well, and you can get that a little bit bigger, Coach. Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
We have Mr.
Perfect.
Stu Pinello.
Picasso. Stu's ready for the playoffs.
Welcome back, Stu. Boston's coming now live for the next series. You're gonna play the Florida Panthers. It'll be interesting to watching this about that. We have Melissa back in the house. Melissa, we didn't see her. Melissa's on the weekend, so welcome back, Melissa. Salut, salut, Melissa. Comment ça va? Practice French.
Welcome, Melissa. Oui.
RJ Calabro, Mr. Tap, back in the house directly from New Jersey, and directly tell us everything's going on with the
Hello,
team
RJ.
Canada versus Team USA, 3-3 at 12 minutes 31, the first third period. Because can't wait. Claude Richard from Ottawa knocked the door, the Bleu Blanc Rouge.
Hey, welcome, Claude.
I want to say thank to Claude Richard. He buy me a coffee. It's a way to support the channel, Mr. Tap. We have a super chat. We have what's called a buy me a coffee, and Claude did it. And I would just want to mention to him, thanks so much, Claude, to do that for all the supporters of the Hockey National Show. Thanks so much. Our friend André Robert Drouin, Mr. Tap, is in the house.
Welcome, Andre.
Welcome back. Our friend Gary Cournoyer back in the house. I hope he did not work too hard today about this. Joshua is warming up to play with Connor Bedard with the Montreal Canadiens. Gary see already the future for the Montreal Canadiens. You see Connor Bedard, like that. Number 98.
Joshua Roy.
Number 98 is going to be Bedard. Number 92 is going to be Joshua Roy. And the list, it continues to get better and better and better. What about Will Smith, Mr. Gary Cournoyer? Good evening, Mr. KLS. KLS is going to be busy with the Carolina Hurricane. I could be curious if he's a little bit nervous about the Hurricane, if you are there. We have Joseph Lahem, and him is sit right now on the balcony at the Houston. Relax, not nervous. Who care about the Rangers? I have the Devils. I have the Diamond with me. I have everything. We're going to be fine. Don't worry about anything. He's ready to rock and roll, Mr. Tap, right now to the Devils again, the New York Rangers. So he's going to be, interesting because honestly, the Devils did not been in their playoff for many years now. So there's the time for Joseph to celebrate and enjoy. And we wish you the good luck for that one for sure. Mr. Joseph. We have Mr. LH, our friend LH is in the house, Mr. Tap. Oh, Mr. Tap, back in the house. Mr. Rory McNeely is in the house, my friend. Where have you been? What happened to you, Rory? Tell us. We miss you, by the way. And thanks for joining the Hockey Nation live show. Then, who do you think is better player to play Jet or Golden? Who think is better player for the Jet or the Golden Knight, Mr. Tap?
Who has the better players?
Yeah, maybe like at the end of the end, who's going to win the series? Maybe.
Yeah, well, I think it'll be a heck of a series. Let's just put it like that. I think they both have talented rosters. I think maybe Vegas is a little bit more deep. They have a better defense. I think Winnipeg has the better goaltending. When you look at game breakers, I would probably say Winnipeg has more game breakers.
Here we go. You got the prediction. Rory ask you, who is your Stanley Cup player prediction? Maybe you don't
I'll
have
have
to
to
tell
look
us
at.
who's going to win, just to give us the final.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was. I'd go with Edmonton and Boston.
Here we go. We got that answer. We're going to get a bit later. Christian Shaw is in the house, Mr. ENORTAP. Welcome back, Christian Shaw.
Hey, Christian, welcome.
There we go. And Rabinov is in the house. And this Danny is in the house already. I did not see Danny. If Danny is here, welcome back, Danny. People talk about you. If
Chernobyl.
not, get out the garage. So, Coach, you're
He's
washing
staying in
and
there.
soon you right. You yes, Andre, absolutely about that one over there. Great experience, to be honest with you guys. You're going to see a video. I'm making video. So we have two cameras live, Mr. ENORTAP. One from the top. I use my phone. The phone is not big deal for the wash, for the water. But so I have me wait. It's just because with the people, my head was a little bit cut. But from the back, I have the GoPro from, and then we have two different view of the show. Everything. Soy 6 was busy, but Soy 7 was extremely busy. All the motorbike, the water's coming from left to right, everything. And this is not the biggest time. The biggest time will be 18, 19, 20. And I'm going to go through 3 days to make some video over there. That will be like 1,000 people walking together and the people dancing on the bar. And it's just crazy at the end. It's not that. So going to be give you more information about that. But if you have to have a great experience
Sounds
live,
great.
visit Thailand in April. Join the Songkran at 2023, honestly, but maybe next year. And I did some
Songkran.
interview. I met a guy from South Africa, one from London, and I asked them live. It pretty funny about this. The water come over me and they wash me with some kind of cream on my face and for the
I
the lock
saw, yeah.
and because I'm butt head, both heads, so the people over my head put all the cream. Yeah, people from the third floor send water. You have a truck with a big hose. I'm telling you now, it's crazy, Mr. ENORTAP. But we'll go through some kind of
So,
experience. That is about that
it's
one.
great that everybody is so involved. That's amazing. It's quite a.
You're going to see in my video, if I had chance to put everything, people want to talk. They want to join my video. You can see behind me and you wave people, women wave and smiling. It's just celebration with joy and peaceful and happiness. That's what I can take away of those experience about that. So, but
That's amazing.
soaking wet,
That's
Mr.
good.
ENORTAP. The good news, you soaking wet, but one is 95, 105. It's not a big deal in the afternoon.
You dry quickly.
You dry quickly about that until the next bucket of the water. Cole, you never had this much fun since I won the Stanley Cup. Cole. Yeah, absolutely about that one for sure. The people talk about prediction. Nicolas de Gobi Bono in the house. I know everybody want to talk about everything. Barefoot Contessa et jambon, but brunch is over. So barefoot Contessa et jambon et patate, Mr. ENORTAP. It's okay. We welcome you back anyway. We were fun to having you aboard of the show tonight where
Jumbo.
people talk about this. Sean McIntyre. I guys, do you think that when they said hockey watching is down 50%? Maybe it's only down a little because it's not a big deal anymore. They're live streaming and send that what I think. So what do
That's
you,
a
because
definite
we
part of
opened
it.
the door
Yeah.
this morning about that, Mr. ENORTAP, but I would like to hear from you, your point of view. As Sean is a great question. And thanks to join us, Sean. And don't be worried. I know he was late this morning. He sent me a text, but don't worry about that. What do you think the reason behind that? What do you feel like X percentage of people are not watching the game anymore?
Well, yeah, I think part of it depends on the market, but I think we're looking at it from a
This one was
holistic
about a Montreal
approach.
Canadian, for what I heard.
Oh, just Montreal. Well, I mean, obviously, as being in a rebuilding situation, it kind of takes a lot of the interest away from what's happening post season play. Uh, but I think it's something that the fan base has kind of been patient with. I think they like where the management is going in terms of the rebuilding process. Um, but you get that, you get those diehard fans that will watch and continue on doing so, even if Montreal is not in the playoffs. They're interested in all sorts of other happenings besides the playoffs, like the draft and the free agency date, and what's going to happen obviously this summer. And then you have the ones that are more seasonal, like they like to jump on when the team is doing well, and we saw that about 3 years ago, 2 years ago, when they went to the Stanley Cup Finals. So I think it's all part and parcel. I wouldn't worry because it's one of the largest fan bases across the entire league. So I think it's just more reflective of where we are right now in our development.
Great point about this. I would just add something. I said this morning. I will repeat, and maybe you'll be agree with me. It's like it's different factors. First of all, the team is rebuilding, like you just said. A couple of great point. I would add one more thing. The injuries affect the Montreal Canadiens, and when the Montreal
Yes.
go down, many fans just love the Montreal, but don't have a very passion about this. Just let go, and then some of the injury are the favorite player fans of the team. Like talking about Jacky. The fans watch him just for him. Sarkowski, they was very curious about him.
Yeah.
Cole Caulfield scoring goal over there. You lose after that, Sean Manan and Kirby Doc, plus Caden Cooley, another one. And I can go all the way like this, right? So one of the players, I watched Montreal just because I like Sarkowski Caulfield. He disappeared at the period of short time. The fans leave the building. Many of you in the chat, guys, you're really good, great fans of hockey. You want more. You're more hungry, more passionate about the game, about your team, Montreal Canadiens. But some of them, on in general, are just watching for the entertaining and they likes the Montreal Canadiens, but they really love and passionate like you are. And I think the fact they're losing player, Mr. Tap, could be an effect as some degrees or percentage of people viewer leave the building.
No, that's an excellent point, Coach. I think you hit the nail on the head there. Um, you're right, and but what it afforded us, even though there were injuries, and again, somebody that's really into is a true diehard Canadian,
Exactly.
will want to also look at the opportunity because we brought up a lot of young talent prospects, and it gives you that chance. Like we hear about them a lot of times, but we don't get the opportunity to see them in play. And yeah, some want to see that, some don't until they become bigger.
Yep. Sorry about that. We want to welcome back a few more people. Thanks so much to join us. Great. Thank Rory to give us your prediction of the Stanley Cup. KLS about Zorokin. And where Mr. Rick Bengal is in the house. Mr. Natal with Dimit.
Welcome, Rick. Let me
So one
guess.
thing that
Toronto
come
Maple
out, Patrick,
Leafs.
what in Montembeau was drafted a third round pick. You're absolutely right about this. Rick Bengal, the problem is he took 8 years for Montembeau to be a solid goaltender in NHL. He took no only one day to what to be in NHL. But I agree with you. They are draft the third round pick. Thanks so much, Rory, again. Thanks so much, everybody in the chat. Real deal is in the house. No deal or the deal. We have real deal in the house.
Welcome, Real Deal.
And everybody
Aloha.
talking each other. Mr. Natal, consider to again. Don't forget, guys, to can like. Rovi, thanks so much, my friend. Women World Championship, great. It was 3-3 the last time we got an update. I did not watching other things right now, but that's happening. No problem, Rovi. We'll see you next time. MTG is in the house, Mr. Natal. We don't see him this morning.
Welcome, MTG.
He go with MTG, go with Mitch Cobb, 5 overall pick. Second and first round, Pelika or Renbacher. And the second round, 37 overall, is going to be Michael Evrabar. Great. I would say, I'm not sure it's going to turn that way, Mr. MTG. But I would say to you one thing. Your selection all makes sense to me. All the players you mentioned this is really available on my leaderboard on my mock draft. So well done. You did your homework. I appreciate that. Again, like this, Mr. Time, we can predict or maybe what we like, but you never know who's going to be still at the leaderboard on the board when you select. So you can thinking about one specific players, but it could be another way because you wasn't expect. Example, Cole Caulfield, 15. Nobody was expect this player there. One the Flyers pick up the Cam York, and then they select the Flander Panthers select Spencer Knight. So that opened up the door for the Montreal select Caulfield. So who knows could happen about this. Now the rumor like they maybe not select Pinchka 4-round pick for Grand McCann. Some people select now 2nd-round pick for Mishka. Everybody is nervous about that. I'll be surprised if ever they go that direction, Mr. Tap. I predict already the team's going to select him. He's going to be St. Louis Blues. They have three pick in the first round, and they would take a chance like Mitch Cobb if he's still on the board after 20 round example.
Yeah, I don't think he definitely makes it out of the first round. As a matter of fact, I think I mean, the lowest I can see him go, maybe if there's a lot of trepidation by some teams, is around
They
eighth,
remind us,
ninth.
Mr. Tap. Remember last year, people said nobody will select any Russian player the first round. They will wait for Marchishenko and Yorav, and they will select at the end of the first round. So Mitch Cobb, I would be shocked if he go through the first round.
Yeah, me too. Uh,
Uh,
I
uh,
think he's in the first half for sure. For sure.
And Dan Hashem, I'm not sure yet for the Jet and the Golden Knight if the time would, if the schedule give me a chance to do it, maybe the end of the end of the playoff at that moment. Dan for that one over there. Barefoot, thanks so much about this. Update 3-3 with 3:52 to go. Steve G is in the house, Mr. Nata. Welcome back, Steve.
Welcome, Steve.
MTG talk about the goaltender, guys. Michael Vrabal is a 6'6", 209 pounds,
Big
18
boy.
years old for Czechia. But he play right now for the for Omar Lancer, the UCHL. Have a good year this year, but not a great year. The year before that, it was pretty good, and he have an amazing, great tournament. Lenka Gretzky with it. It was a team country. That's what he make his name over there. He's been on the front chart of the mock draft, Mr. Nata, between 25th to 45. He's been up and down of that area, and I just want to sharing this about him. But he's going to be. We'll see how they can. The USA take the lead, Mr. Nata, 4-3 over Canada at 3:10 to go. No problem, Robbie. Have a good night,
5-3.
my friend. I will talk to you very soon. Rick Began, 40% all casual fans. That's a great point to hear that about this. KDS, Alabama, low cost of living, just hot in the summer. You're absolutely right, Alabama. KDS depend where in Alabama. You could be in Mobile area on the south of the Gulf of Mexico, or it could be at the Birmingham at the middle of the Alabama. It depends what you selection. You could be at the north with Huntsville. Huntsville, Minnesota, have a great hockey program there for the NCAA. When my friend won the championship season 2 there, the Huntsville, they have a team at the SPHL. It's called the Huntsville Havoc. So just give you a bit. It's fun in geography. I passed my I think it was 11th grade. I think I passed my geography, so I know exactly
Yeah.
Alabama, Minnesota.
You made it all the way to Thailand. I'm sure you passed.
Here we go. I bleed red, white, and blue. Dan Ashant as something. That Montreal the best our balls sound like a quit the goalie trio for MTG. Possible. Yeah, but the thing is, people are not paid $240 for the package to watch hockey in this blackout that starts streaming. Everyone want to get free. It don't show pen to no cable. So there's a point about that one there. So we did not mention too much about this, but I know Sean mentioned this earlier. I apologize, did not talk. The streaming is coming very bit more harder and harder. I don't think so. I will exist, Mr. Tap. I don't think so. You too. I wish the best for you. But when the team are going to, at some point, the team going to run their own streaming, I would not be surprised. Like the Capitals did it this year, and you're going to see more because you have the bankruptcy now with Bally Sports.
Yeah.
Now, many teams are in trouble on Joe Barty. So you won't be surprised the next 10 years or 20 years, team have their own streaming play to do, and the people have to watching Washington have to become a streaming over there. If you then you can go there. Now you're going to have network NHL between that, but the blackout will be there with restriction at different level, at different ways. I would be surprised if it happened that way. It makes sense.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I think that's the direction a lot of things are going, and so we could see it sooner than we think.
Yep, you're absolutely right. And Rabinov said it was difficult to sit down for the app this season with all injuries. You're absolutely right about this. Person can most fan base,
It
Rick,
was.
about the Montreal Canadiens. Championship hockey, third period, 5-3 USA against Team Canada. William McClary is in the house. Welcome back, William. Roger
Welcome, William.
Delaney. Roger
Roger the
Delaney in
Master.
the house, Mr. That. Roger, hopefully doing well. Thanks so
You're
much.
welcome.
Rick about is winning the Toronto Maple Leaf. That'd be great about this. I missed you, North Carolina, for about 14 years now. North Carolina, great place to live. By the way, Mr. ENORTAP. Mishka is going on the top 5 for Henry Rabinoff. I would be shocked if Mishka dropped past 8. Here we go. 6-3 USA, Mr. ENORTAP. Mishka will go on the top 200 WST. Runway King is the house, and the WST in the house.
Hey, Ron.
Jerry is in the house, and Jerry confirmed the final score 6-3, Mr. ENORTAP, for the Team USA. Thanks so much about this. Steve G, I'm in Huntsville right now. We'll check out the RVox next season, probably. You're absolutely right about this, Steve. The Huntsville team is playing the SPHL. Before that, it was, I make some kind of scout over there a long time ago, but I know this location, Huntsville. The time, Mr. ENORTAP, they were playing the CHL, the Central Hockey League, and they are the team in Macon. It was the ex-John Paris head coach. John Paris makes his name in the QM and the midget AAA program. And then they have Columbia. Phil Roberto, ex-Montreal Canadiens players. He was in charge about the program over there. Phil Roberto, Mr. ENORTAP. So anyway, don't underestimate the Russian government. Look what happened to Mishka's father. They control the people. Mishka maybe never come over to the NHL. Gary, you possible. You never know about that. So I'm moving to Birmingham, Alabama in June, Melissa. You can go in June to watching the baseball there. They call the Birmingham Barons play on the Double A program. And then, Mr. ENORTAP, I know everything. Tell me any question, Mr. ENORTAP, about Alabama.
You're the GOAT. You're the GOAT.
I can tell you everything about baseball and about the youth travel, everything like that. I will be active on this show. I'm not a problem. Melissa, do the best. Jay is in the house. I live 1 hour from Montreal and Malone, New York. Every message game is blackout at Channel Few Nation Broadcast Network. Almost quarter season blackout. Sad to hear that, Jay. Maybe NHL66.com or watch me live or the play-by-play. I can do the same thing. It will be the best at 20 degrees, Mr. ENORTAP, at Nova Scotia, neighbor of WST, with Mr. Rick Bengal. I joined about the great game for Predators today, for the Peterborough won the game today. And a congratulations about this one there. 6-3 final score. Thanks so much, RJ. How was Owen Beck, Vinny? Or how was Beck, Rick? Vinny is in the house. Congratulations, Vinny. Talk about the game between the Peterborough and this. So that we go through everybody. Thanks so much to join us. Take 30 minutes to talk to everybody. That's a good thing. Don't forget, guys, if you have any question, please click on the likes. But of course, put the little Q. We're going to answer. And ENORTAP is ready to work on it. So that first question tonight. Take away from the HABS season. I know we talked about this earlier with Marco this morning. But I want to share it with you a little bit more. Give us a little bit, a couple of minutes, what you take away from the HABS season overall. It could be player, coaches, management, anything you want to hear. People in the chat want to talk about you take away from Montreal. Maybe one thing, maybe is this player. Maybe it could be, look, they grow the development, the improvement, everything. And I can't wait to hear Mr. ENORTAP what he has to tell us.
I think when we look at a coach from the team perspective and what management's done, and I think this morning you had also the comparison from last year's record, the power play, their penalty killing, in comparison to last year, and we've already given all the injuries that we've had. We've increased in almost every statistical category from last year. Now, you might turn around and say, well, that's not so hard to do because we finished smack last the year before, but that's part of the growing process, right? And and really, if you think about it, the first half of the season was a little bit surreal. We were playing beyond our expectations. At one point, there were even people that were thinking, "Hey, could we steal a wild card spot out of this year?" And of course, when you realistically look at it, I mean, the answer obviously was going to be no. Um, but it just shows when the team is headed in the right direction, when the management agrees and communicates with the coaches, communicates with the fan base, communicates with the players, that there's that unity there. And once you have that, players play not just for themselves, they play for the team, they play for the city, and they want to advance. And we've seen some great strides made this year, starting at the goaltending position with Montalbo, who had I think, a much improved year from the year before, and to the point where he shows promise, I think, as being a very solid backup to the team. We saw the effects of having Kirby Doc on the team, played extremely well. The trade to get Matheson worked out to be another dandy deal for them. Of course, Suzuki continued. I mean, he's 2 years in a row, knock on wood, has played all his games. I think right now, believe it or not, he stands something like fifth or sixth overall in terms of consecutive games played, and he hasn't been in the league that long. So that'll be an interesting Iron Man record to look at as the years go on. We saw the emergence. We saw five rookie defensemen in the lineup. When we saw the emergence of somebody like a Caden Gooley until he got injured, we saw Jacky go beyond expectations and really add a different dimension to that team as well. Harvey Pinard came up and was an instant contributor to the team. Um, Justin Barron, when he came back the second time, learned from his experience, and you can tell that he came a long way as well. Um, and you could probably go on and on. I'm not going to go through all the players, of course, but in terms of looking forward, there are some areas that we still are problematic, and we need to clarify as soon as possible. Now, some will be expiring contracts that are going to happen. You the Drouin and that kind of. Uh, I think Byron as well is done this year. Nothing official has been mentioned, but I can't see him possibly coming back.
Is
I think,
during the press conference he opened the door. I'm sorry I cut you, but he
yeah,
said
yeah,
he's thinking to get a job with the Montreal Canadiens on the development players or on the scouting, but more the development assistant coach, something like that. So expect Bobby Ron be retired, and guarantees for
yeah.
sure. I think it'll be it's a great decision, Mr. Nata.
Absolutely, and we speculated that all year long, but it's good to hear that he confirms it, and that's something that he wants to pursue as well. Um, Guryanov is another one that is probably going to be released at the end of the year. Um, what happens to Hoffman? Like, there's a lot of question marks along the way. Armia, another one. Uh, Ryan Pitlick is another one. Where do these guys go? Dvorak could turn out to be another one that they keep or don't keep. Do they sign on Monahan for another year at a cheaper contract, or does he become released? Like, all of these things, they're definite question marks. We're not out of the woods. And then you throw on top of that, obviously, that the draft is coming up, and that will help to dictate the direction that we go, because it's one story if you get a Will Smith at the fifth spot, or if you win the lottery and you get a Connor Bedard or even an Adam Fantilli, that changes your outlook a little bit more, and probably, as Hughes alluded to, speeds up your process in terms of what they're going to do. They're not going to spend money on free agency right away. And it makes total sense because they're not in that position to win yet. But I like going back to the conference the press conference that both Hughes and Gorton had. And Gorton answered, we enter every year with the anticipation of making the playoffs. At some point, you have to be realistic with the talent that you have, obviously. But our objective is not to come into next year thinking, okay, we're going to be drafting low again. And, the idea is continue to develop that culture that you've established over the last year and a half and build on it. Let's see a little bit of improvement in many of the areas, just like we saw from last year to this year, and then things will slowly start taking care of themselves. So I know I went around a lot of different issues there, but there's a lot of work still to be done. This is not a 1 year plan.
Yeah, well said, well done. Takeaway for me is about I have to go back October 12 when the Martin said we want to focusing on three things. First of all, I want to focusing on the culture, the brand, you can call it whatever. The culture was really important for him, the foundation of the team. That was the first thing. The second thing, the organization want to develop. You want to be sure they develop the team and they become better. You can see the stat. They have 55 points last year, 58 this year, and they grow as a result at the end. Not on different aspect of the game, but overall, they did pretty good. Thirdly, they want to develop players on the individually, and they did it. They completely transformed many of them, and I think that was all the check for my takeaway out there. And I think we have to give credit,
Mhm.
like you said earlier, the injury opened the door for other players to step up. I would say to you, Josh Anderson took advantage of that one over there. RHP took advantage of that. Whatever the Belzil, not big, but again, he creates some impact for the Montreal Canadiens. So the opportunity opened for a door for the Montreal Canadiens. That's what the takeaway about that. You can say, oh, maybe not this. No, I want to still say what we get there. For me, is a successful year for them overall since July until this today. And I think you can consider this what what Can Use did. Trade for money and first round pick. They trade for Dardanov. They got Weber salary cap out. They shred their salary cap the first year the way they did it. They trade for Monahan, like I just mentioned. Madison. This is a steal. This is a rob. He did that. What about Kirby Dak? He did it. So he think about everything. You have to give credit for what they did. He accomplished on the staff management and then, of course, on the coaching Martin St. Louis, and the plus step up at the right time. So overall, that's all my takeaway of this, Mr. Enata. We have a few people knock the door. Jerry from
Yeah,
Sweden
definitely.
is in the house, Mr. Enata. I apologize. Jose
Go
Duarte
for
knocked
it.
the door. Welcome back, Jose
Hey, Jose.
Duarte. Thank to see you aboard. We have
Welcome, Jose.
someone else. A2ZME is in the house, Mr. Enata. So people pop up. Like people talk about Strobel, Jaden Strobel, Mr. Enata. Again, Strobel doing well with the Laval Rocket. Consistency for me. Larry Watts, by the way, thanks so much to be with us. Don't forget, guys, to click on the like. We will appreciate Mr. Enortap to be with us tonight. Take a time. I have a question for you, Mr. Enortap. So let's go right there, way there
Sure.
from Andre. Enortap, a few of the likes of the Dwayne leave. Who do you think will become permanent on the team? They are not Laval and all the team in Montreal on call.
That are now Laval. Well, I definitely think that RHP will remain with the team. So I don't know if you consider that a promotion from Laval, because obviously, he played here for quite a while. I think he in total had what, about 34, 35 games that he played, somewhere around there, and you know fits into the system perfectly. I think Martin St. Louis loves that kind of a player that just goes out there and gives his all. Um, we could have a possibility of a positioning opening up for, who knows, maybe an Owen Beck, That's possible. I think it might still be a year away, but it's definitely a possibility. Yolanin, I'm a little bit less optimistic about, not because I don't think he'd fit, because he could, but it's just a right now it's a numbers game, and I think that what happens at the draft will also dictate who's going to have an opportunity to join the team from Laval, right? Um, and who am I forgetting?
Yeah,
Uh,
but at the end of the day, Mr. Hunter, I was said I was maybe not simplified that way. For the Montreal Canadiens from Laval Rocket, you have two players can make the Montreal next year: RHP and Enneman. All right,
Heinemann's another one. Yes,
all right.
yes,
So they are the two of them. Now, when you involve Ireland with Enneman, one or two will make them NHL, the Montreal Canadiens. I don't expect both of them going to be there. Thirdly, one thing you have to remember, guys, you have not many spots in Montreal Canadiens until Ken Hughes make some move. So you have to be sure.
right.
You have to be careful about that. When you get RHP, now you're going to have Enneman, Allen, Pitlick, Pesada, all fighting for the extra player at the end of this part. So that's not including, guys, the training camp or the rookies, like you just said, Mr. Tap, the Joshua Hua, the Owen Beck, the Sean Farrell. I'm not saying they're going to make the NHL. I just said maybe one of them can surprise. Owen Beck was the revelation of the camp last season. Logan Mayu could be another one. I don't see anything else. I don't see William Trudeau, Norlander, Strobel, all those guys make the NHL next year with the Montreal Canadiens. But I think overall you did very well, Mr. Antab, to mention that. I think
Yeah.
Strobel could have the same impact of Coley did with the Montreal Canadiens. Agree or disagree?
Who? Struble
Jaden Strobel, yeah.
was a again. I think it's a numbers game. I would not be surprised at all if he's part of some kind of package in terms of a deal that gets made. If Hughes has something in mind, he could be part of that, and that's coming from a position of strength, which is on defense. The prospects are there, uh, but let's assume, for just for argument's sake, that Edmondson gets traded this summer, or that leaves maybe Savard as and Matheson as your more experienced defensemen. You have still Harris, you have Gooley, you have Harris, Barron, so Kovacevic, of course. So again, it's just a matter of numbers, and how that gets resolved, we don't know. Um, so if a player goes back to Laval, or joins Laval, period, I think it'll benefit them, because they'll be ready in case something happens, or a trade later on. I think those things will definitely assist them, and I think Laval is going to have a fantastic year next year. These guys are going to hopefully be loaded.
I think Montreal don't need to have any rush. I think for me, what I
No,
learned now is Montreal have many prospect and their affiliation, right? Two said, you know what? Don't rush anybody. Go drop everybody down at the Laval. Go get 1 year experience, 2 years experience. Then after that, when we'll be ready, we'll call you call up when we need you back and forth. I think that would be the best way to develop them at this moment. I think you don't need to rush
yeah,
Joshua Hua, Owen Beck, Mayu, Farrell, and I can go all the way. Really, Kitney is another one. We don't mention his name right now. We have a great year. So I think Montreal have the benefit now to say, hey, hold on everything here, drop down, keep opportunity for right now, Islanen, Enneman, the 22 years old, the 24 years old, been around. Kurinov could be another option at some point for Montreal to not give up and let a player down for one more year. Jan Mezak, good there. He played the 4 line with Laval. He need to step up. So I think that's what I would say to you about that direction. Montreal have that kind of the flexibility now to do that. Compared Laval going to become a better team. It's not that when you put all together, the Trudeau, the Angstrom, By the way, Engstrom played with Sweden Hockey League for Claude. He played for the team Rougi, I believe that's the name. Maybe
Yeah.
bad
No, you're
pronunciation
right.
about that one over there. So we talk about people. The thing they will at stake next year, rebuild is gonna to have the prioritize the young like he did, not what they was you call a rebuild. I don't know, Jerry, when you said that, when you said prioritize the youth like it or not, what is what you call a rebuild. So if you think about them to be play for the Montreal Canadiens, I don't think so. I think they would be more in Laval Rocket next year for that one. Jose Duarte, welcome back. Like I said to you, thanks to be with us tonight. Great to hear you aboard. Thanks so much for the likes. Thanks so much, Vinny. About this one, Claude, my takeaway is among the rookie defensemen cracking the lineup this year, Mr. Nata.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, there were, I believe, five in total that were rookies, if you include
Yep.
Kovacevic in the equation that they picked up. And I don't know if that's a record for any particular
It looked like it
team in
was.
one particular year. Yeah, and that's a very difficult position to crack, right? At the pros levels, they usually, they like to pair young defensemen that come up with experienced defensemen that they can sort of learn off of. But that mentorship, either because of numbers or because of injuries, was not always available. I thought Savard really came out of nowhere to not only have a good year himself, but to mentor somebody like a Gouli along the way, and we saw the benefits of that being reaped. Yeah, it'll be interesting. Like I would almost, I I don't know, as it's going to be so tough because there's a couple more defensemen, but that could make the step up. But I agree with you, Coach. I don't see what the rush is. If you give them one more year of development, it can only make them better players down the road. So that's what the direction I would take with the team, and we'll see what that
Was
leads
said
to.
about that. I agree with you for sure. We have Rick Kane is in the house. Welcome back, Rick. Thanks with us. A2 said depend on the draft. If the app win it, the pick are pretty obvious. If they don't, we may see some movement by use with the first round pick. Are you talking about the number 5, A2, or you talk about the Panthers? I don't see my 12 trade the number 5. Um, about the element need a spot 2, A2. Ellen Keeve in the house.
Welcome, Ellen.
It's a number a game regarding RHP. Georges Archambault, bonjour. Georges, merci d'être avec nous. Look like you have the Victoriaville Tigers. The Tigres de Victoriaville as the logo. Georges, es-tu dans la région de Victoriaville? Let us know. RHB is a done deal, making the AB as for a Beck. He will in Laval next year. No, Beck cannot be in Laval. Beck have to be with the OHL. You have to return as a 20 years old in OHL, Mr. ENORTAP. That's the rule. So, I'm not positive. I will be with the app next season. I was just curious, then why you said that. What do you think that way? Do you have any particular reason? I would like to hear your statement about that. Mr. Alex McLean for the Maritime in the house. Do you see you play with the big club next season, Mr. ENORTAP?
No, not next year, unless it's a call up at the very end of the year, just to sort of give him that experience. But I think he's still a year away. We can't forget also the fact that he's close to even though he had a fantastic year this year, he's still a year in arrears in terms of where he should be, because of that incident, obviously that kept him out for a while, and he also had some injuries to contend with. So again, he would be definitely one that will probably see some ice time at the professional league, but he's still at least a year away.
Yeah, absolutely about that. Sean McIntyre talk about what 3 goals, 6 point last game, 18.9 goals.
Amazing.
So far, really upping his game. Look like they're now back together. What a drink with an 8% chance. Sean McIntyre about what a bedal. Yes, Joshua right now is a play at maybe his best his best hockey career in the QM at ENORTAP. We know he did very well, Team Canada, but he picked it up. He carried on
Actually,
right now the Phoenix, the Sherbrooke Phoenix on his shoulder, and they are in mission, and that's what they are right now. And we have to give credit for that for him. And again, that will be another one we have to pay attention for the next year. To put him in the
yeah,
NHL, I'm
he's
not sure, but he can go to Laval
right.
next year, by the way.
Absolutely. And again, he's one that might be a first call up if in case of an injury or something like that. But again, he's having a fantastic year. And here's the beauty of it all. He's a very, very coachable player. If you look at actually his results, his stats from the year before, he's slightly behind those numbers, but he's improved in many other categories. And that to me spells he's been working on parts of his game that were a bit of a weakness. And he's come through in flying colors. Like you look at his plus minus, I think it's increased drastically from the year before, which means he's paying more special attention to his defensive side of the game. And of course, that's going to hold your offensive stats a little bit below. But and then what I saw at the juniors, in the big games, he didn't shy away. He stepped up, and those are great qualities.
Yeah, absolutely about this. And the QM guys, if you want to follow the full team, Halifax must add the Sherbrooke Phoenix, the Gatineau Olympic, and the Quebec Handball. All right now lead on the series. Look like they're going to go possible on the semifinal at the QM. You have two players, Joshua Roy and Reddy Kidney, one for Sherbrooke, one from Gatineau, are the top prospect for the Montreal Canadiens. I just mentioned the big name for them, and that will be interesting what they're going to do. On the OHL, right now, Peterborough are winning today. North Battalion is winning. Saginaw lost today, and then the Kitchener surprise, and they won by the score 5-1, I believe, yesterday. So the OHL, I didn't have anything on the WHL right now, but I just want to give you a little bit information about that and what's going on in the OHL. And the QM, we should give you a little bit more information on the junior. Merci Georges d'être avec nous ce soir. I'm hoping NMN is used next year like RHP. I want to be surprised about this, Andre. Again, I will go back all the way to the training camp. Mayu can play on the power play tomorrow for the AB. Is the rest of his game need to serious seasoning? Absolutely about this. Well said. I too about this. Seven member, ladies and gentlemen from Sweden. Welcome back, Mr. Seven member. Right now, he turned the key off, turn the key down for the close the bar restaurant sport in Sweden right now. Mr. Seven, ready to rock and roll the playoff. Merci d'être avec nous. Thanks so much, Seven, from Sweden. Don't forget, guys, to click on the likes. Ken Strobel play on the right side, Gary Cournoyer.
Can he play on the right side? I'm not sure. I'm not sure if he's had any experience on that side, to be honest with
Few
you.
experience about that, so I can answer to you. Few experience, but when he was playing with Jordan Harris, Harris was playing on the right defenseman and Jaden playing on the left side. Now this year I
On the
didn't see
left.
enough a game for Northeastern to put him permanently on the right side, but I don't think he would be a perm. You have other players like Kaden Coley. You can put him on the right side and Harris before him, Gary. Now he could, but I don't think so. It would be appropriate for him, in my opinion. Everybody said yes, I agree with you. Georges, merci beaucoup encore une fois d'être avec nous. Jerry, we have a 9 left defensemen. We need 2 right defensemen. Just make good trade at some point, Jerry. You absolute about this?
Or draft.
Oh, yes,
Like,
of course.
if you
would you
can
think
get
a
right
Hughes would
backer,
try to get? I'm sorry, I'm gonna cut you. What you said?
I said if at some point if Reidenbacker is available, that's a consideration as well.
Yep.
Big
Would you think
defenseman,
Hughes
right
would
side.
try to get Alexander Holmes for the New Jersey?
That's a good question. I'm not well. Boy. I mean, he's an interesting prospect, coach. I mean, I like the fact that his contract is very manageable for the next 3
He's
years, I
still on the
believe.
ELC anyway.
Yeah, he's at around 900,000 or just under.
Yeah, he's still on
He's
the
only
ELC.
21.
He's going to renegotiate next season. But here's the point, Ellen, for me. sometimes we not said what Montreal want. It's about what Montreal can give for New Jersey are interesting to get. I'm not sure what the Montreal
Yeah,
has right now for Alexander Olds,
yeah, that's a consideration.
right? For me, I don't see why the Devils were going to give a 7 overall pick to the Montreal Canadiens. I don't see why the New Jersey will trade Alexander Olds.
Yeah, I mean that's giving up on a young prospect right off the bat,
Yeah, almost one
unless they're
point per game,
return.
Mr. Natap, with Utica commits. 11 point and
That's right.
14 game. He got hurt most of the year this season. There was a second season and with the American Hockey League. With Utica last year, Mr. Natap, he had 51 point and 52 game.
Right.
So the guy can produce. I just not said, it's like, I don't say Cole Caulfield, but Nick Ski, 13 overall pick. What are you going to give away him?
Exactly.
So for me, Alexander always the same pace. Like he's a 7 overall pick. He's only 21 years old now, maybe 22 now, but I think he's more 21. There we go, 21 years old. He just turned
21. He's
21.
21.
So
Yeah.
again, Ellen, I know the rumors some people mention about him, but why they would trade him for to get what from Montreal? Cole Caulfield? That's you talk about the same language now. You talk about Caden Cooley. You talk about a prospect. You cannot give away Josh Anderson for that. You have to give more,
No.
right? So Joshua Roy with Josh Anderson could be on that part over there with something else. But you talk about a 7 overall pick, in my opinion. But that's what we have. I was troubled with Laval, a smooth and fast skater, physical, good first pass, very impressed with him. On the we'll be interested how you're going to develop. A2 is a David Rebacher is our defenseman. You're absolutely right. Go Dagger, go. Here we go. George mentioned about him. I was right. Will Mayu make it to Laval next season, Larry? I think for me, he could. It all depends what the Montreal
To
Canadian
Laval.
and
Yeah.
he's going to decide. The only thing is negative for him, Mr. Tap, is the number of the reps he did not do in the last 18 months. So that's the only
Yeah.
thing. So maybe they will return him in London at night. They're going to have another good team. They become the factor important for them and play one more year and play more. If you play with the Laval Rocket, what is going to be on the depth chart on the right defenseman? I'm not sure. I don't know. How many minutes they play in Laval? I don't know. But that would be my only concern because the lack of the reps. When I say red guy lacked the game in the last 2 years, he did not play. So
That's exactly it.
we have
And he
Zinnik
needs
Gimmick with
those.
Zayla, Mr. Natap is already from Saint George.
Welcome,
The
Zena.
Bows, Zayla. Welcome back. Combien de points Maxime Pellerin pour les Tigres de Victoriaville? Georges, j'aimerais savoir si c'est la question pour cette année ou la prédiction pour l'an prochain. Georges, si tu pourrais me poser la question encore une fois, j'aimerais bien te répondre proprement. Donc, dis-moi ce que tu penses. Dis-moi si c'est cette année ou l'an prochain. Larry, Lavallée, Missantap, rent B&B for Mill, July, Gunnet, and Kingston, Ontario. Can wait to look you at the Mustang Sally and our tap. Here we go. Barefoot Contessa is in the house. Welcome back, by the way. Tyler Brennan, 3 years contract. New Jersey they signed the goaltender Dylan Brennan, 3 years contract at ELC. I think Brennan, 3 years at ELC. That's confirmed by the Devils. Where is the Wool Island? I don't know. What RHP and NMN have a very good chance to start with the Montreal Canadiens next year if Hughes can get rid of some veteran. You're absolutely right about this at A2. That's a good point.
Absolutely.
I'm not sure all three will be there, but that's a possibility. André, quel joueur le plus de points pour les scientifiques de Rimouski for George? Johnny Golden is in the house, mesdames et messieurs.
Here's Johnny.
Here we go, Johnny. Hope doing is well. Hopefully everything is well. Glad to hear you aboard. Glad to stop by to say hi to everybody.
Welcome, Johnny.
About this. Do you think the Winnipeg Ice can go to the Memorial Cup in our type of culture?
I mean, it's possible. I mean, they have a good team, but there's so many others that are stronger right now. it is definitely a possibility, but a lot of things have to go right for them, including the goaltending.
Yeah, I would say to you for me on that WHL is really the Seattle
Yeah,
Thunderbird. I think is the Thunderbird,
I think so. Yeah, yeah,
right? So I think for me, this really where I feel they are the best team on this one. I think the other one, I believe, I better chance about that one. There, I can give you a little bit information. 1-1 the series between the Moose Jaw and the Winnipeg at this moment. So that's what the Ken Looks take the lead 2-0. And the Seattle Thunderbird is on top 2-0, like I mentioned to you. So that's what the best team right now. And the WHL, Mr. Tap. I will not be surprised. We see the
yeah.
Seattle Thunderbird and the final standing, and then possible Casino on the QM. That would be two team I was looking for about that. Here we go, Mr. Top. This is the answer for that. Mr. Gary asked you. René West said that there are a trade coming soon of our men and a third pick for the future consideration for what Gary Cournoyer said.
Can you put the question up, Coach?
Well, there's a question. He said, Renaud Lavoie said that there is a trade coming soon. So Mike Hoffman plus a third round pick. I would not be surprised. I think Montreal can have 3 or 4 round pick this NHL draft. So I'll not be surprised they trade him to let go Hoffman. Hoffman cannot return with the Montreal Canadiens, Mr. Top.
No, I don't think so. After what we witnessed, especially towards the end, I mean, his numbers are good enough that maybe some teams will still kick the tires on him. Uh, they would definitely like to have him on their team, but here's the issue: it's the money, right? And that reduces the amount of buyers at the rate that he's making. And it's not just 1 year. I think he's signed for 2 more, if I'm not mistaken. So that's going to be a bit of a problem. But if he can pull that off, and Hughes can, and and open up the door for us, I think that would be one of the contracts that we need to shed.
You're absolutely right about that one for Mike Hoffman. For me, he cannot return. Secondly, I will say to you, Maxime Pellerin is a center, 6 foot, 180 pounds, undrafted in NHL, and he is 20 years old, have 86 points, 68 games. We have Super Chat. Super Chat, chop, Rivers. Super chat, Mr. Larry Lavalley, $10 is up in the bank. Thanks so much, Larry, for this one. We really appreciate you do that to us. Very kind of you to do that. That wake up in our tap at the same time. So that's great to hear that. Thanks so much for all the likes we got. You're doing great. You're doing great about this one. Any Trent Eiserman would consider the DeBrincat, Mr. Tap.
What's the question, Coach? I didn't get that.
I'm sorry. Any chance Steve Eiserman would consider Alex DeBrincat for Ottawa Senator?
There would have been a time where I would have said yes, but I don't think so right now. I think he's. I think Ottawa's committed to him. If it opens up the door later on because of maybe some possibilities that could happen in Ottawa, maybe that could happen. But right now, I think he's staying put in Ottawa.
Yeah, he become an RFA, get about $9 million. He have a lower expectation goal this year is about 30 goals, I think 28, something like that. If they have the right offer, I think they will trade him. I think what could move at DeBrincat, it could be a first round pick at 2023, and Ottawa can consider that pick long term. I would not be surprised to do that. A team like a mini team could be interesting to get DeBrincat. It all depends on the cost. They could pay him. They pay a lot to him in return, by the way. So
yeah, of course. Yeah.
They have to be sure they get something good in return, and many teams could be interesting to get him. I'm going to shock everybody here. I have two teams I'm thinking really quickly here: the Carolina Hurricane and the New York Islanders.
I could see it with the Hurricane. I could definitely see that. Yeah.
because you take the money of Pacioretty, you can give it to him, and they have a lot of prospect over there. So again, I'm just sharing this with you. No, we're not many that deep about that, but I think that would be the best thing. I think would be good about this. We could and John, we could use a goalie too, Johnny. Yeah, yeah, sorry about this, Johnny, about the goalie. Ellen said, "I'm not impressed by Mezar. You should use him as a package for the trade." Um, for
It's
me,
possible. I mean,
but again, Mr. Natap, why are we going to give up to your young men?
yeah, I agree, and it's not fair to look at Massar's season because I think ever since that injury, coach, where it looked like he was hurt, he hasn't been the same player. He started off actually fairly well, and then since that injury, which was I think about a third of the season in, he just wasn't himself, and it's going to take time sometimes for him to. It's like getting back up on the horse and after a fall, you know. You got to give him time. He's got to feel it again. And I agree with you. I wouldn't give up on him, but if then it means it's part of some kind of big package that comes in the other direction, you might want to consider it. The other thing you don't want to forget is he's also, not that it should really have much bearing, but he's a very close friend of Slavkovsky's, and we saw how happy they both were to be drafted by Montreal. That you know, those sometimes those are minor details to the game as well. Is keeping the players happy.
How about that? I'm watching Mezal. I just feel I would not do it. I would not trade any young prospect from Montreal Canadiens. Listen, guys, he moved from Slovakia, go to the team, I have no clue. It was completely a mess at that team. Whatever, they good looking good for the playoff, right? They turned the goal, they turned the coach over there. I just feel why to give away a young man like him at 26 overall pick. Um, Expectation at 25 to 32 guy is not big. It's not like he's going to be a top six, could be a bottom six one day. But I would be just my point here is, Mr. Top, caution. Why trade young men? Yeah.
Yeah, it's way too early.
So that's what we get. André Robert, le point dans le cas de Edmund n'est pas important, c'est de voir s'il a pu faire dans l'autre année. They will get the Panthers' first pick. They will get the first one pick. It's not good enough, Gary, for Alexander Small Olds. Gary, you talk about a 7 overall pick for a 17, 18. The chance to make the NHL at that level, it's not big, by the way, at 17, 18, 19, 20. So I wouldn't. Again, Alexander Olds, guys, you top Lane Hudson, a MEILLEUR, a Cooley, a Caulfield, a Suzuki. That's what you can pay. That's what it is. That's what you give back then. You cannot give a player lower about that. Now, you can trade Joshua Roy with the first one pick for the Florida Panthers, right? And add maybe Jordan Harris in return.
The nice thing is we have the options to make trades of that nature because we built up a number of good prospects over the last few years. And but there's a delicate time in which to do it and which not to do it. And right now, I still think we're in the rebuild situation. Maybe in a year or so, if a really good package comes up, you definitely have to deal. You have to, and you got to look at what your commonalities are, right? If for example you have an excess of defensemen, then that's your area of strength. That's what you're going to package with something else. If it's something to do with size, then you might want to trade up and get a bigger winger and include Massar with somebody else to get that winger of interest. So a lot of it'll depend, but I'm sure these are all things that Hughes is well aware of and will pull the trigger when the time is right.
Yeah, the rumor came for again because the Kirby Dax decision last year. Montreal trade a 13 overall pick, everything like that. At that moment, guys, remember, Chicago is rebuilding. The Devils are not rebuilding. The Devils don't have to trade a
No.
young 21 years old for something they don't need right now. Why they going to give away Alexander? So someone somehow, I don't know who started that rumor, but I think they just try to find a different name in NHL to see what Montreal can give away. But again, Alexander Olds, yes, great hockey player, Sweden. I thought at some point it would be better to Lucas Raymond, but Raymond passed him on my chart. But I'll
Yeah.
cost you guys Joshua Roy again. I cost you. Are you willing to give first one pick Panthers and Joshua Roy? Are you going to give Lane Hudson 62 overall pick for the first with around the Panthers? I would like to hear from you guys. What would be the trade for Alexander Olds? Give me a trade for Alexander Olds right now. I will tell you if it's good enough or not. We can go from that direction for sure about that. David Hauser is in the house, Mr. ENORTAP. Thanks so much. Actually, I did not hear any rumor. I watch a lot of hockey. I'm also asking because Hélène, you're not the first one about that. It was mentioned this morning, and someone brought it to on the table, but I cannot remember who said that rumor. So glad you bring Alexander Olds, Hélène. Glad to have that kind of conversation for sure about that. We know Montreal looking for a different winger around, but again. Alexander Olds is a great hockey player. Renegade Man 83 in the house, Mr. Razak.
Welcome, Renegade.
Renegade said, I hope they can get Will Smith, Mr. ENORTAP, for that one. That's possible. It would be interesting if they can get that. Thanks so much for all the light we got so far. Do you see Argent score 20 next season, Mr. ENORTAP? 20 gold.
I believe so. I think he's just a fearless player that takes chances, gets in front of net. He's a very much a team player, and this guy goes to the dirty areas. So he's not afraid. He's actually got a very good hands around the net as well. He's good for tip-ins as well. I would be very surprised if he did not put in 20 goals.
Very great point. I was said to you, Mr. ENORTAP, a fun factor could change everything here while you're talking culture. But here's the
Depends
point.
where they put him.
RHP is the TOI. He was used at top six. Can he have a spot now with the top six with Montreal Canadiens? I don't know. RHP was at the top power play. Now you have Gerby Dak,
Yeah.
and you're going to have Cole Caulfield right there as a forward coming back. And then if they use Sean Mannion example, what do you put RHP?
Right.
Right? So the TOI will be so. My point behind that is all depends that is TOI for RHP. I think for me, it's not about the number of the goal. It's what he bring on the table when he's at the lineup for the Montreal Canadiens. I'm talking about forechecking, puck protection, forechecking, bring energy, change the game by the fact he's on the ice, really play. He can play, anticipate a lot. He read the play very well. And that kind of enthusiasm and positivity he bring around the team when RHP in the lineup like Gallagher was in the past. That's what I bring. You know what I mean? Like not only the 20 goal, but what the player bring on the table can use on special team, power play, PK. That's what is RHP.
I agree.
I'm glad you all agree, Mr. ENORTAP, so we can move on to the next thing, Mr. ENORTAP. My only wish for the next season, the next is to get PLD, Mr. ENORTAP. I think you are on the same weight like her. The others is winning the cup, Hélène. If you want to join the chat, if you want to join our league, guys, go to nhl.com/bracket and look for the league called Ab Nation, Mr. ENORTAP.
HABS with an S.
You're absolutely right about this, Georges. Tu as raison à propos de Rimouski. Je ne crois pas qu'ils vont passer à travers pour Rimouski about this. All right, David, have a good night. Armin, I have to go. Ellen, I agree with you. Mr. Marco Larrabee is in the house, Mr. ENORTAP. Welcome back, Mr. Marco, after a great morning with us this morning.
Good show today. Yes, indeed.
Mr. Andre said to you, ENORTAP, what team and the NHL will make the biggest change to the result this year?
Oh, one of the teams that jumps to my mind right away, I think, is going to be Pittsburgh. We saw it with the management, and now they're going to have a few free agents like Dumoulin and a couple of other forwards. that they're going to have
Zucker.
to contend with the Zucker, right? So they have to shed some money, and I think they'll be active as well, depending on who the new management is that takes over. But that's one team that jumps to my mind right away. I think maybe,
I can add
boy,
Washington. What for you, Mr. Tap? Washington Capital will be a team.
Washington,
We will
yeah,
be really a lot of move over there. I will add the Philadelphia Flyers is a move, can move a lot of players over there. I wouldn't be surprised on that one for them. I'm
St.
curious
Louis,
to see what Nashville and St. Louis Blues are going to do. More the St. Louis
yeah,
Blues have 3 first-round pick at the draft this year.
that's right.
So can make some don't I don't I think the St. Louis Blues and the Nashville Predator with the new GM over there are going to retools, not rebuild. Retools over there. It's two teams right there. Vancouver
Absolutely.
Canucks, what happening over there? Retools over there or not? Everything. Calgary Flame, what they could do over there, that will be another team. And I said they're going to make a big churn, but it come the modification. For me, Ottawa Senator with a new owners, what he could accomplish over there. They are the team when they pop up on my eyes right away at that moment.
And of course, the playoffs will also dictate if there is a team that's going to make a lot of moves. Because if you get a team that's kicked out first round, you know, a Toronto, for example, will that cause a domino effect with the organization at the management level and possibly some of their players?
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. We welcome back Mr. Renegade Man, like I mentioned to you. And Kayla said that DeBrincat doesn't want to sign an extension. You're absolutely right about this. But again, the owners could changing everything when they get that part. Gary Cournoyer said Hardman and Edmondson, he want to follow Edmondson. He got traded. Which team would be your dark horse at the winning the cup, Mr. Natap?
Winning the cup. Oh boy. Hmm. Keep an eye out on Dallas.
That is could be a good
I don't
choice
think
about that one over there. Do you consider
I
Edmonton
don't
as a
think
dark
they'll do it.
horse?
No, that's why I didn't name them. I don't consider I consider them almost a favorite to get to the finals at least, based on what I've seen this year, especially in the second half of the year. I think this is a team that you're going to have to really contend with. Um, who else? Who are we
I'm
missing
going to go
here?
with I'm going to I will take one on each conference. I'm going to surprise you with the Los Angeles King.
I thought you might go there. Yeah, if it weren't for the fact that they were playing Edmonton first round, I would tend to agree. It's going to be a tough series to get
But that's
out
my
of.
point. If they go through that one over there, right? They become
Yeah,
now a
yeah,
solid contender to go deep on that one. The key is to the injury about Fiala and Villardi. But they have the mini like they prove it. Send the trade deadline. They was one of the best team until the end of the season. Something happening there. But we talk about talk us, right? I mean, you have to consider the team like second, finish second or the third on each division. On the Eastern Conference, I will say to you, with no expectation, I don't know. I don't think so. Rangers, Toronto, Tampa are dark horse. I think they are a solid team. I think the one there will be the Devils, in my opinion, because nobody expect a lot from the Devils at the end of the day.
here's an interesting one. Would you consider Tampa Bay a dark horse?
It's like Toronto. Tampa Bay proved it for the last 3 years, so it's hard to make them as a dark horse, right?
I know.
Right. So
But
great point
just
about
given
that.
their play, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely right about this. Great point about this. Where a couple of it doesn't Mezar too many small forward. The reason I would move Mezar is because too many small forward for Marco.
Yeah, that's a good
Mezar
point.
is not very good. That's my opinion. It's okay about that. Yeah, the goalie Matron need is Askarov. It that simple. Pay the price, Jerry. Not a problem, Jerry. I will make you a trade
Wolf.
for Askarov. Are you ready? Are you ready,
I
Jerry?
want Wolf.
Are you set? Here we go, Jerry. Your first one pick 2023. Your fifth one. Got it? I want Caden Cooley at that trade. And I want to be sure you include me, Caulfield or Suzuki. Deal or no deal? Otherwise, we don't talk. I don't want to hear the rest of you players. I don't want Hudson. I don't want Mayu. I want Suzuki or Caulfield. I want to be sure you give me your first one, and I want Cooley. So what I get right now, I give you a really good prospect goaltender. I'm getting right now a fifth round pick, a Will Smith at minimum. He's going to be my top six. I'm getting my top two best defensemen in my team. I'm getting right now a center or a guy can score 40 goals per year. Deal or no deal? You want Askarov? I'll give you something good in return. I ask you something good. Mr. ENORTAP, what do you do?
I don't make that deal. I'm sorry.
So what do you do for
I think
Askarov?
we could still wait on a goaltender. I think the draft is probably a better direction to go and see if in picking one or two goalies. Plus, we have a couple in the system already. We don't know really. I know we dump on Primo quite a bit, but you know, look at
I
him
think,
again this
Mr.
year.
ENORTAP, you have to go UFA. The carousel goalie will be there for the next
Yeah,
5 years.
yeah, that's true too. You could go UFA. Yeah, yeah.
For that one over there. You have to move some asset culture. I have to give to get Marco. Yeah, absolutely. I just mentioned that part of there.
True, true.
Again, I don't said Mezal cannot be traded, but you give a 19 years old, right? Why not to trade Eneman? Why not to trade Tyson Minak? Why not to trade Hazel or Islander? Before you give a 19 years old out at that moment over there. I don't say he would be a great hockey player, but why not to trade Sean Farrell? Why not to what I mean? Like for me, it's hard to give a young man that at that age. Remember what Ken you said. We go to give one day. We know that we go deep with each players, and that's what he reach is best at his skill. And I think that's what would be the key with Philippe Mazal. I think Philippe Mazal was not the right position with there. And you can see right now in the playoff with the Kitchener team doing well, but he's not at the top of the players right there. It's more Pinelli, I believe, is fast the first name for there. Wish I knew the youngest like young guys so I could contribute, but I'm not the problem, Larry. All good about that. The key is to learning. Of course, if the app was on the draft, someone like a Carlson or Smith, depending on where the app are in the draft, do you think it will point less going after PLD, Mr. ENORTAP?
Yeah, it's possible. I mean, uh, the only difference is obviously if you get one of those two players, you're gonna have to wait obviously for a couple years before they can be at the NHL level. Whereas if you pick up a PLD, you can start right away and at least work towards solidifying at least your number one and two lines, moving in the right direction. Um, I'm just a bit weary. Like I know I like PLD. I'll be honest with you, but I'm weary. I don't like when you've seen in the past a player that kind of quits on a team or makes declarations that he'd rather be somewhere else, like he did with Columbus, and now he's doing with Winnipeg. Although, to his credit, this year he's been very quiet about that. He hasn't talked about contract or anything like that. But it worries me a little bit. I'll be honest. But I'd love to have him. I think what he brings to the table is something Montreal has lacked for many, many years.
PLD will be UFA next year, right? Not this summer, but next year, right?
Yes, that's right.
I have a question, Mr.
But
ENORTAP. I have a question for you, Mr. ENORTAP.
that Winnipeg is going to do something about it. They're not going to go into next year and not have him signed and lose him for nothing. So Cheveldayoff is going to be trying to shop him around.
Mr. ENORTAP, who do you select as a UFA and how much money you give between Pierre-Luc Dubois or William Nylander?
I still like PLD, um, and I'll tell you why, because it's that elusive center position with
You have
size,
already Kirby
with
Dack,
grit.
Will Smith, and Owen Beck, and Nick Suzuki.
And you can never be deep enough. You can never have enough down the middle. If you're strong down the middle, coach, not many teams will be able to play with you.
You don't have
I'm
no
telling you right
winger with
now.
the Montreal Canadiens.
But you can always convert a centerman to the wings, put him on the
Which player
wings.
Montreal Canadiens can score 40 goals per year?
Caulfield,
And
um,
no one.
Dubois could have the possibility if he were here. He could.
30 goals. Dubois never passed the 30 goal plus. You
True.
have another scored 34, 40, and 31. Scored regular 87 point, 80 point last year. You get a right winger all the way there.
Yeah, but look at who Nylander's played with, and look at his defensive game. Not to be admired. Last thing I want is an offensive player that doesn't come back. We tried that with a Hoffman, right? And it
Oh yeah,
didn't
but
work
now
out
you
very
get
well.
Another quality player versus Hoffman. You're not going
Absolutely.
to get.
Don't
Remember,
disagree.
guys, you're not going to get a 40 guy scoring goal and play great on defensive. There are not many of them about that. There are not
That's
many of
why
them about that one over there.
that's why they're unicorns, coach. They're unicorns.
But it's
They're
not Pierre
right.
Dubois. Pierre Dubois is not a guy like that.
But do you need 40 goals from him?
He has 60
If he
points
gets
and
you,
stuff every year.
I know, but he's entering the prime of his life too, right? Like you put him on the right team with the right players, and this guy will produce. If he wasn't injured for a while this year, I think
7
you
year
would
in
have seen
NHL,
even
I
higher
didn't see
numbers.
that yet. And he play with a solid player. He played with Sheffley. He played with Nicolas Eller. He played with Blake Wheeler. And I can go all the way. He did not produce more. Like for me, is a guy he's not going to give you the next level. Montreal needs scorer. We did not have scorer. They need a regular guy, 35, 40 goal as a winger. If you get a Nylander like him, I don't say specific him, a guy can score 35 goals plus per year. He give you that on the consistency, like Alex de Brincat example, get that level. I don't said it's not going to work him, but I'm talking about a guy can score your regular 40 goal. Montreal need one. They don't have enough on the scoring side. It's not Josh Anderson. They don't have anyone. Uh, Forget about this. They don't have anyone. Only Cole Caulfield. They need more sniper about that. A guy can score 35 goals regular, and they will have to figure out this at some point the next 2 years. At some point, they have to add a UFA. They have to. They don't have no enough on the top six.
Yeah,
I don't say specific
I
William Nylander. They just said like if I have a choice right now, I take Nylander compared to Pierre Dubois
no,
because my structure
I
at the
don't think I
center
would.
is so good. I don't want to put Kirby Dak on the winger. I want to keep him to build because he's 6'4". At some point, I will be surprised Dak become the center number one Montreal over Suzuki.
Yeah, that I could definitely see, and you know what? It would not be a bad idea for Suzuki to be your number two centerman. I'm telling you, he's going to draw worse coverage from every team he plays, which means that his ability to put up stronger numbers will increase directly from that move alone. It's tough for him to play every single night on the first line and play the best defenders that each team has got to offer. And we've seen that frustration in him on some nights. So yeah, put somebody. If we can get a true number one centerman, then you got to play him there, and maybe Doc's the man. I like what I'm seeing so far, but he hasn't shown that yet to be at that level just yet.
Yeah, you're absolutely about that. Great comment about this. And then so obviously, coach Hughes would have, of course, he would have to make some prospect. You don't, but for me, you don't draft your first round pick right away. I think you should wait a little bit longer and see how they can become before you give away a players. It takes time to develop players. That's my only objection about that one over there. I think you have to wait at least the guy go to find way. It was a really bad environment where he was this year. The kid moved from Slovakia, go to a new one location, nobody around him. He's alone. and new language, and I can go all the way like that. I just feel, for me, I will not give up Philippe Mazal at that moment. But again,
And don't forget, Coach, you're absolutely right. And don't forget, over the years, that's the one thing that we've complained about. How many first round picks did we trade away at some point because we gave up too
Galchenyuk, we
quickly on
gave
them?
Sergachev, and it just, I think it would be not be right to do that right now. I don't say you cannot trade him. Again, I can understand that, but I think I will wait. That's the only thing I would say to you. I will wait at least another 1 or 2 years to prove to us what he looked like in Laval, everything like that. But again, sometimes you make a trade, Mr. Tap, you have to pay the price to get something in return. I completely understand it. Gordon said they would plan to use their cap space to acquire asset. You're right, Johnny, but I don't think so at the level what maybe you expect. I think Montreal Canadiens going to use those assets like maybe a player where they go on the depth side of the game with some kind of leadership. I don't say Corey Perry, specific Corey Perry, but a guy like Corey Perry played many years in NHL. And so again, right, I know what Achiri example, or I just mentioned name right there, but that's what I don't expect a big splash on that level. Now they can go, Johnny, on the way they did last year. That money they can use for get another bad contract for 1 year and to get something huge in return. That would be another way they can do that, of course, Johnny, about that. Tu as raison, c'est mon opinion aussi. Adam, Mr. Adam Berger is in the house, Mr. Tap. Bruce one named the starter, Mr. Tap, of the Vegas Golden Knights. Are you surprised?
I'm not, because he did play well at the end. Thompson still has injury concerns. That's why he's not there. But do not be surprised, a quick hook if they lose that first game and seeing Quick come in his place. I would not be surprised at all.
You're absolutely right about that. We try to go around very quickly, Mr. Tap, to pick it up a couple of people in the chat so we can follow up everything. To forward and Marco again. Try to get, I lose the track of that one. Johnny Golden is there, all right, got it. Adam, welcome back. Frederic Cadat, welcome back in the house. You will not trade Joshua. Well, Nicholas knocked the door, thank you. Coach, you was talking other day, trading Cole and Nick for Bedard. No, I not said that. I said to the, again, guys, for the Bedard situation with Nick Suzuki and Cole Caulfield. By the way, they are 23 years old and 23 years old and 24 years old. But my point about that, it was, if you have a proposal, if you have on the table a trade, do you trade better for Suzuki Caulfield? That was the point of that subject. And then, so it was the point. But yes, I will trade him, both of them, for that one over there. So if I get something huge in return for Mezal or a young plus, I will consider, if the reset or the asset in return is excellent, about that one over there. Thanks so much about this, RJ. Rank the following prospect and Montreal pipeline: Farrell, Roy, Mézard, et Beck. Rank the following prospect: Farrell, Roy, Mézard, et Beck.
What's the list again?
He wants to figure out the pipeline of Montreal Canadiens. The rank of the following prospect are Farrell, Roy, Mézard, Beck. I think Kidney have to be there too.
Probably, yeah. I would put probably Roy first.
I still believe I would go with Beck for me at the beginning, because Beck showed me something nobody showed to me right now. I would be concerned about Farrell versus Roy. I would put Mézard the last one at this moment, because Roy would not see him performing yet in the initial. But I would slightly put Roy over Farrell, but I would go with Owen Beck. There is a reason I said Owen Beck, because he proved to me last year he can play. He can hang in there. But on the consistency, I'm not sure. So the pipeline for me, Roy, is going to be Beck, Roy, Farrell, and Mézard.
I would just switch Beck with Roy. That's the only difference.
Yeah, it makes sense. It's just Roy didn't see him in the initial yet. So I don't know what he will do about that. We will see the draft for the trade coach. Remember that trade no one expected, one expected unexpected. Well, that could happen if the Alexander Moles gave, if the Devils gave the Montreal Canadiens Alexander Moles for the 17 overall pick. You said,
Do
do you
it.
want 1 million with that? What do you need more? We can give you something. No problem. You want Mike Hoffman too? I can give you Mike Hoffman too. But yeah, Gary, about that. Everything gonna be there. Jerry, RHP with Sarkowski and Anderson. The problem, Jerry, with that, who is going to be your center? You have no center on that line. Marco, I think Beck is a leader, is a keeper. The other I could package for a bigger forward, say like after Holmgren, Minnesota for Mizal, for example. I see Alanon being a trade because he does not make the ab next season. They have to put him on the waiver before sending him to Laval. You're sorry about this. The same situation with Kaden Primo at the same time. Dallas was my dark horse too, and the West Islanders could you upset the Cane. Yes, but can he go back a little bit deeper? I'm not sure. Villardi is back. Thanks so much, everybody, on that. A lot of great comments. Askarov for Florida Panther pick. Primo, Strobel, third round pick. Not good enough, Vinny. Unfortunately for that, I need more on that
I would
one.
do
This
it.
one thing you could put Bronze out, that would be the Panthers. Larry, you're absolutely right. If a thing can compete, they did it this year, it would be good. You overbought, but I would give Suzuki and Harris and Edmondson for that. I would not say it's not good enough, Jerry, for Askarov. For that, I
No.
need more with Suzuki and return. Ellen, I agree with you. She said, I agree. Happy with Montembeau. Goalie can wait. You are also a lot and you are free. I agree with her. What do you think?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Andre, great comment about that. 116 would not roll for, but I don't like doing that. I've been app fans or ever. Larry, awesome to hear that. Thanks so much for the super chat. Not sure I agree with Coach Straight value. Norway is worth a first, a third one person pick. I would guess is what Florida pick plus Cole Jacquard Farrell Omezal. I agree with you about that, Marco. We get it. Even if Chevaldav move Pele to another team, he will have to sign. Yes, you're absolutely right. Black Dragon is in the house. Alibak, Zorokin, Mesantap, Kakonen, Lankinen, co-play are UFA in 2024. I agree, coach. Let the youngest grow and sign experience goalie and the team remember playoff. And then, Mesantap, I think the development of Montembeau changed a little bit the philosophy of the Montreal Canadiens on the department goalies. Does it make sense?
What do you mean by that?
Because Montembeau played better what maybe the expectation was. They are right now on the transition
Absolutely.
saying, you know what, we can wait 1 more year, keep Jake Allen and keep Montembeau.
Yes.
And then we see that
Yes.
Montembeau is going to be possible in front of Jake Allen at the beginning and see how he's going to react for next season. And then they can maybe possible they can trade Jake Allen for move on to him to get something else.
Yeah, that I see. I mean, I kind of agree. I agree with what Marco had said today about with Allen. I thought, they could have been a little bit more patient on that now in retrospect, because he's signed for the next, is it 2 years after this year? And now he goes up to, I think, what is it, 3.5 or 3.8?
3.8.
3.8. So do not be surprised if they try to perhaps at some point try to trade Jake Allen if a team is in dire need for a goaltender. At least they know that Allen can do his due diligence. He's not going to hurt you, and if he's on a good defensive team, he's actually going to help you.
What was said about this one there. We have RJ. Thanks so much. Luc Laverson in the house, Mr. Top. Are you ready with Luc Laverson is in the house
Hey, Luke,
tonight? Looky
we're
Luc
always
is
ready
with
for
us.
Luke.
He said, Mr. Top, are you agree with that? Usually you said pick the best player available, but this year is very deep and talent. A team could draft for what they need.
I still maintain you go for the best athlete that's there. If you have to at some point, then you can always make some kind of trade if you have to address a particular need. But at the draft, you can't go wrong with going with the best player available at that spot.
Great point about this. Black Dragon ask you this question: would you like to do that? Do you think you go and shred some salary and sign a Dumba or a Severson to play with Madison?
I don't think it's going to happen. Just because, again, um, we have it's a numbers game. I'm not sure I necessarily want Dumba in Montreal. I'll be honest with you. Severson's steady, and definitely would help. But does that fit into the plan for Montreal moving forward? Because I'm trying to remember what his age is right now. He's got to be on a little bit now in age. I think he's around 30, if I'm not
Which
mistaken.
one?
Severson.
Well, he's about 29, 28.
Yeah, yeah. So I don't know if that quite fits into the plans of the team. Just to have him here so that it's an experienced defenseman. Then who are you going to cut? Because or not cut, but send down to Laval, and
Here's
that's
the
where
best
you
thing I
run
would
into
say
the
to you, Mr. Hotel.
problems.
I'm sure you'll be agree with me. Is like you already have Savard, Baron, Kovacevic over there, and you have extra LD have to move up on that side over there. And have Mayus coming
That's
down.
right.
Why to spend that kind of $4 million, $5 million for those players? And for the minimum
Exactly.
at 3 years. So I don't think so. Montreal need that. They better to go from the group, from the bottom they have, and grow them as inside of this organization. I go out. I think use that money. It was Bracken. The $5 million you get. Try to get an extra player can helping you a long term to add another $3 million to make a package in 8 million. It become a 40. That would be my option, Mr. Nata.
Right. Yeah, I agree with that.
About this, Marco said, not sure you need a 240 scorer or the same thing. I would take 6'7", 20 scorer instead, Marco. Great point,
I agree.
but again, Edmonton have three scorer of the 100 point. You have the Colorado Avalanche last year have two scorer 40 goal last season, and I can go all the way like that. Um, I'm not sure how many winning Stanley Cup with 6'7" scorer, 20 goal, Mr. Nata.
No, there's probably a few if we go through the Stanley Cup winners. There's a few. I like balance and I like defensive responsibility first. If you especially if you have a solid goaltender, because you don't need to score 6 or 7 goals in the playoffs. You need to score about 2 or 3 goals, and that should be enough if defensively everybody's doing their job and your goalie's doing his due diligence.
Yeah, but again, if you have only one scorer or not like a guy can score 30, I would say you need at least 30 goal, a 30 goal at least scorer on your team.
Yeah,
If not, you know, get that because nobody.
yeah. I think you should have one in obviously Cole Caulfield. So there's one covered there. We don't know. I mean, Doc could eventually, maybe not at the 40 level, but he can get somewhere close to 30 down the road. I'm not overly worried about offensive stats because we've seen teams that are in the past that do extremely well in the regular season offensively, and it just doesn't translate to the
Oh
playoffs.
yeah,
You need the solid defensive play. You need the defenseman. You need the good goalie, and then the rest will come.
yeah. I'm sorry about this. Yamo Nylander play on the leave. One of the best regular season offense team, easy to score goal. One thing I said to you, Mr. Nata, for last 2 years, William Nylander was maybe one of the best forward as a playoff
Yeah, that's true.
for
A little
them.
bit less pressure. A little bit less pressure on the second line, obviously.
Do you
Yeah,
sign
you're right.
Monahan for 1 year at 3.5?
I'd like to sign him for one year. I'm not sure 3.5. I would probably give less and offer a bonus structure maybe if he
So here's the
achieves
point
certain
behind that. The key to
milestones.
do that, Mr. Marco, and in our top is like you want to get him to maybe a market for him at the trade deadline, right?
Exactly.
Lower
Exactly.
is his salary cap at the trade deadline, better it is to shopping the players.
Exactly.
Back to you. You're absolutely right. You get him at $2 million. You get him a bonus $2 million on the significative money, and that money you give to him for the $2 million bonus is report for the following year on the salary cap for the team. So you can spread the money on that one over there. So if you feel you can grab is 50% of the salary cap, Mr. On top of the 3.5, that will cost only another team sub 1.75. It's really discutable for the negotiate both teams. So key behind that, Marco is maybe right on one option. The other option, you're absolutely right in our tap about that. It's all depend how the team feel about the salary cap at that moment of the summer. Does it make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, but yes, yes, yes. I will. If they don't do anything top six, Mr. Tap, I think Monahan brings something they don't have yet on many ways. Leadership, experience, player can play power play, short-handed, face-off. He brings something Montreal don't have on one specific player. He take two, three players
Maturity.
together to make money in at that moment. Low cost, don't give you is a risk you don't give. Does not work at the trade line. You got hurt. That's all. Not big deal. For me, I'd spend a UFA or to make a trade. I will go with money in for 1 year.
If you can get him at that price, I definitely say you do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Yamo, for PLD. Getting PLD as a UFA would probably cost you more que trading on him now. A lock him up, yes or no? No, Nicholas. For me, I
No,
don't know enough that you'll be agree with me because that would
no,
cost
yeah,
you the same amount extension contract at the end. It would cost you two players in return at the same time. So at the end of the day,
you lose
Montreal could tell
assets.
him one specific amount of money, Mr. Tap, you accept, you deal or no deal.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And if he really wants to play here, he'll accept it.
Yamo said that, Mr. Tap. I would like to hear some people in the chat. I know he's busy right now, but Mr. Tap, but losing Dano was bad for the Montreal Canadiens and good for the Los Angeles Kings. Look at Los Angeles Kings now.
Well, of course. I mean, when you're talking about Dano, you're talking about one of the premier shutdown people in the NHL. But we saw what he did last year with LA in terms of his offense, which was always a part of his toolkit. He has those skills to produce those kind of numbers. Unfortunately, when he was with Montreal, they had him more on a checking role rather than an offensive role. And he had some bad luck as well in his final year because otherwise his numbers were not horrific here in Montreal. They were actually quite decent. Um, this year we saw a little bit of regression in his numbers. Not a lot, but he didn't have the same year as he did the previous year. I think this is what you get out of Dano. Definitely an asset and definitely absolutely fantastic to have in the playoffs.
Yeah, I would say to you the problem with Dano is what you put him with Montreal Canadiens. Center number one, center number two.
It's got to be number two.
Right? So now you put Buski. It would cost you $6.5 million as center number two. And I'm not sure he will do the same. Look, he play on the power play over there. He does all this fun role. Montreal could maybe not offer for him here in Montreal. So for me, I think it was benefit for the Montreal to let him go and to get to move on with what they have right now. Philippe Dano there is that concern now. No Kirby Doc and the future with Montreal Canadiens.
Yeah.
So sometimes everything turn around to be good for Montreal about that one. Look at Foster doesn't want to trade. You don't want to get Sean Manan about that. So look, what would be your player you're going to get? Are you comfortable? Look to play with what they have right now. Play RHP, Heineman, Ilonen, Anderson, top six for the Montreal Canadiens, and with Mike Hoffman. What they are going to do. I'll take best player. Yeah, absolutely, Larry. I agree with you. Many people said, Marco just said that. I said, have a great year. William McClary, welcome back. William, by the way. trying to bring them into your system. Which team are going to need gap relief this summer, and which player could have they back for asset, Mr. Tap?
One more time. Let's see which teams are
Which
going
team need trade some
cap.
player they
Yeah.
Montreal could get in return?
Who's in cap hell? Well, we mentioned earlier, Pittsburgh definitely is not in a good position there. I think Minnesota is also in that position in terms of cap space. They don't have very much. Um, um,
Vegas,
Vegas, that's right. That's
Vancouver.
another one. I think Vancouver is a little bit better off ever since the trade with uh, Brock Besser, or not with Besser, Bo Horvat. That helped out a little bit. But you're right; they could be up there as well. Um, Calgary is going to be an interesting one as well to look at. I mean, the Leafs are going to be in a little bit of cap space problems themselves because they're not really losing anybody this year. Um, at least not anybody of a significant salary cap imposition. So there's a few teams there that they could look towards
I
to
was
pull
shocking you
off.
guys. I'm going to get for Tyler Myers for the Vancouver Canucks.
No, no, coach. No, 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 no.
Yeah.
No,
You
no
ask a
Tyler
Vancouver
Myers.
Canuck, a first round pick, go with Tyler Myers. They open up $6 million on the salary cap for them. That would be huge to get on the open up. Montreal have him for 1 year, and that's it. Like exactly what he did with Dadonov, exactly what he did with Monahan.
I know, but it really puts a cramp in the defensive structure that they've established right now. Who comes out of the equation here if you bring in Tyler Myers, who, by the way, his numbers they're quite painful if you look at them.
But the only one right there is because you need they have so they don't have the RD is Whiteman have to get out of this. That's simple.
Sure, but you still have the rookies to contend with. One of them would have to go down.
No, you get Barron, Saval, Myers, and Kovacevic.
And when Jacky and Harris and Barron and
On the other side, you have
where did
Cooley,
Coates?
Madison, Jacky, Harris.
Schooneman's gone.
Oh
Schooneman's
yeah,
gone
you
as
don't need
well.
him.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Weidman will be gone.
So you
Yeah,
get a player like what you have to do is to get everyone's going to become UF free in 2 years, right? You have 1 more year contract, have a bad contract, and open up again. First one pick for Vancouver Canucks. You get in return for 2024. I just try to answer the question. I don't say I have to think more deeper. I just see this right now, Mr. Tap. But I think it will be someone like that.
yeah. It's definitely a bad contract that you have to take back. I don't doubt that. I just rather would see it happen at a forward position than at a defensive position.
Gary Conway said, "Add need to gap relief. Not necessary, Gary. They open up $20 million this summer, so they have enough money right now for Caulfield. And that'll be the good one. I will not sign Dubois yet. We'll wait for the following year before I sign him. That'll be my point about him. Francois Pitt is in the house. Thanks so much, Francois. He said, give Mike Hoffman. That would be one of the job for Ken Hughes, who I played a few games at the end of last year. Looked pretty good. Claude Richard. He did not play with the Montreal Canadiens, Claude Richard, for Joshua Roy. If I can recall it, he played only with the Laval Rocket, maybe 1 or 2 games at the end of the playoff.
Yeah.
Willie Snyder in the house, Mr. Tap.
Hey, welcome, Willie.
Williams said, wait a few days and the free agency, they could pick up a couple of decent depth players to augment the development team, not overpay day one. You're absolute about this for that. No laugh on the team. No, thank you. No laugh on the team. No, thank you. The big trade for the AB is the 3 years. Gary Cournoyer. Or also add Tobaz, who could be the next that big goalie. It could happen with Tobaz. Montebo is a goalie for the time being. I agree with you. I think Tobaz was a great signature. This, yeah, he was drafted by the Montreal Canadiens a couple of years ago and gone back for Ohio State. Now decide to play professional. So you're absolutely right about this. Tobaz, the potential is still there, Mr. Top. But we have to wait what he can do. All right? We agree?
Yeah, it takes time, especially with goaltenders.
Hélène, Biron, Kurianov, Drouin, Tierney, Monahan, if a few of them move, we need veteran experience. We need a PLD, not really the softball. I don't know. PLD is only 25 years old. I'm a little bit concerned about his behavior. I'm concerned about his consistency. If you want to give a guy score 28 goals per year average, 60 points, 62 points per year, $8 million or $8.5 million, that's Pierre Dubois. For me, I gave 8.5 to William Nylander. I'm getting 85 points. I'm getting 40 goals per year.
No, I would not give $8.5 million to Nylander. No,
how much it costs to get a 40 goal?
His defensive, but his defensive game will hurt you, coach. If he's scoring 40 goals, but at the same time 10 of the goals were because of his doing, he's not really a 40 goal scorer. He's a huge liability defensively. He's tried to improve that, and he has somewhat, but he's not got the game of a Marner, for example.
I would take Timo Meier before Pierre Dubois. Oh, I would give you about 20 players right now in NHL score 35 goals, and I would take before Pierre Dubois.
But you're looking only at the goals here. First of all, I think he is the kind of player that could be a point a game person.
But he didn't did it, Mr. Tap. That's the only thing. Yeah, but if you want to give contract and get a players.
He's been in flux over the years, right? Like he's been with a bad Columbus team when it happened. Then, with Winnipeg, I mean, they're a good team, but it took a while to, like, he still put together very respectable years, but it's what he brings to the game that isn't measured in goals and assists that I think is critical. And I'm talking about the grit that he brings, the defensive style that he brings. If he has to drop the gloves, he's not looking for fighting, but he's not going to shy away. He's not a Josh Anderson from that perspective. So you know what? Those are the things. He brings size. Can play center.
He's only 6'2", Mr. Top.
Yeah, that's good size. That's good size.
Well, but it's not like the big size like Kirby Dak. Like he's just not like an enemy. He's not like a big size. I would expect more at Pierre Dubois 6'3", 6'4". For me, I would not trade until he proved to me he's a 1 point per game. Until then, I'm not good Pierre Dubois because his past, problem locker room, problem in Columbus, problem with the Winnipeg Jets, very happy, never been happy about that. What it takes for him to be happy, shut your mouth, play hockey, and produce. Then after that, you open your mouth. Until then, give me 40 goals per year, 35 goals per year, 30 goals per year, 75 points, 1 point per game. Until then, what do you have to prove to me? You're not happy for what? Why you have to complaining? You get $6 million. We just give you a contract, $6 million for a year. What's wrong with that? That's the sign of red flag for me.
Sure, and I expressed that as well earlier, but still, I don't think you can refute what he can bring to the game.
He's not a bad player at all. I don't say he's a bad player at all, but you have to bring someone, have some kind of the past with him. I don't know if you ask his teammate playing Columbus, what do you think about Pierre Dubois? We don't know yet.
I can't talk for them, but obviously.
The only thing I would say to you, Mr. Tap, if they get him right, Ken Hughes and Jeff Gordon did some search. They did some homework. They've been talking with GM, they talk with the assistant GM, they talk with the agent, they talk with teammate, players before they get a player like him,
Yeah, that goes without say. I mean, obviously,
right?
management has to do their due diligence, right? You don't just pick up a player without researching and discussing that with him. But I don't know. Yeah, is there better? Of course there is. I'd rather have like a Tage Thompson. I'll be honest with you, but it's not going to happen, right? Like this is an opportunity that's come up, and I like him better than Nylander. I'll tell you that.
Well, I just, when I said Nylander is a scorer to 40 goals. That's my point, 35 goals, 40 goals. It could be another player you have free on that line. Austin Matthews is available. Do you take Austin Matthews or Pierre-Luc Dubois?
Well, Matthews, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So with that year, you have a lot of players or you are free on that year, Mr. Tap. And Tap is, as she asked you this question to you, would you resign Baudin, Stephen, Boway, Schoenemann, or Belzile? Which one you sign them? More for the Laval Rocket, but keep in the organization.
Which UFAs will Hughes resign next season? Probably Stevens, I would say. Belzile.
That's true, yeah.
Who were the other two?
Baudin, Schoenemann, or Boway?
Baudin's an interesting one. I probably would. Bowie, when they got him in the trade, I haven't followed him much, so I don't know if
Not
he's
much on right
produced
defenseman injury a couple of times. Play Montreal, maybe one game. I
Yeah,
think I'm not sure.
I think one game. Yeah,
27 years old, 25. I will let it go.
I would too. Yeah,
And Schoenemann, I think my only thing I would say, Mr. Tap, is
no.
how many players we have a defenseman at the left defenseman and with Laval. If you keep Fred Brother, Baudin, Trudeau, Norlander, Strobel, that's 5.
Right.
Now you have Schoenemann. That's too much.
Yeah, and he's on in age too.
Yeah,
he's a little bit older than all of
yeah,
them.
exactly. About that, so for example, and I'm getting to ski at Caulfield. Then I was, yeah, that's a good way because he get better in return. That's a good one about that one for that. The ad need to cap relief and need to Caulfield and maybe Dubois. Roy play a few games at the end. We go back. We go backward, Mr. Tap. We have to go down, Mr. Tap. Unless the track or the Danny T knocked the door. Welcome back, Mr. Day. Why will you Montreal make a trade? They're not going nowhere. I believe he said that for that one. I didn't get minimum. They're going to get injured about this. So we're going to go all the way down, Mr. Tap. You have so many people talk. One the other, and he goes, why you so upset? You have beef with Pierre-Luc Dubois. I'm not upset at all with Pierre-Luc Dubois. Point behind Pierre-Luc Dubois, Hélène is the pass of the players. That's my biggest concern about Pierre-Luc Dubois. And he did not prove to me, Hélène, he did not do 1 point per game. And the guy won $5.5 to $9 million per year. So that would be my concern about that. Prove it to me he can do that. 1 more year, like I said earlier, month ago, go get your 35 goals per year, go get your 80 points per year, and then after that, Montreal can sit with him and get him. But remember, guys, don't tell me in 5 years he's not happy in Montreal.
No, you know what, Coach? I think a lot of it will depend on what he agrees to come over here for.
Yeah.
If the price is right and it's respectable, then how can you lose in a trade like that?
Oh, you don't trade. You sign him at UF3 is a 6'2". He plays center. He can play a winger. He can play on power play. He brings a physicality to the game. He's a good first. The quality are there, Mr. Tap. But the quality does not represent yet the number of the point he can do on the ice. And that's what I'm a little bit concerned about him. Many games, Mr. Tap, he disappears on the ice. You don't see Pierre-Luc Dubois. Many games. You have to remember that one. He's not give you a full 100% consistency game after game.
He's not like that at all. That part I would disagree with you 100%.
But what he been for 25 games and the last 25 games, how many points he got? How many goals he got? How many play he played?
Hurt. He played hurt, and he still played, and he's still the
So it's another
catalyst on
player
that
play
team.
hurt. Well, we have a good record in Montreal with player play with hurt.
Sure. That's all we need. Yeah.
Maybe
Oh
you should
boy.
talk with Monahan to
No.
get a game and sort that.
I just think if you get him as a free agent, you're probably going to pay a little bit more than you would if you went through the trade route. Right? It's a year later. The salary cap will be higher. He can command. It gives him an extra year to prove that he will be a 1 point per game man. So you're going to probably pay a little bit more. I don't disagree with the philosophy of it, but you're probably going to pay more than you would right now.
Yeah. David Sorrell
A
play with
little bit.
look like David Sorrell play with him. And Gary said David Sorrell about Dubois. Never heard any teammate said anything bad about Dubois. Why so negative? MLS will press the right button about Pierre Dubois. So look like it's not true. He is really, really happy in Columbus, Mr. Tap. He have no problem in Columbus and Winnipeg for what Gary said about that one over there
But
about Pierre
in all
Dubois.
fairness,
The biggest
coach, in all
problem we get in the
fairness,
chat, Mr. Tap, is not the quality of the player, it's more the salary cap come with Pierre Dubois.
yeah, that's why I say it all depends really on what you're going to sign him for. Like if he's gonna come here and he commands 8.5 or 9 million, I think that's silly. It doesn't happen. Period. But if he loves to be in Montreal and he's content with, let's say, 7 million, I think that's a respectable number, especially if you sign him for the long term. I think 7 million is fair.
Yeah, I don't know. I would be interested about that. Nicholas said, but you want Monahan, which is also hurt. It got much worse injury reserve history. See, because, guys, remember, a guy got hurt, guys. Don't hurt the team. He's going to long-term injury reserve. It don't hurt the team at all.
Yeah,
If
it
the
opens
team
up
is
space.
close to the salary cap, it doesn't hurt the team at all, for one thing. The
Right.
Montreal Canadiens, when I say Monahan, guys, we don't have a top six. So, Nicholas, give me one player you would like to get on the top six for the Montreal Canadiens. We don't have. We don't have. We have Suzuki, Caulfield, Kirby Dak. That's three players, Mr. Tap. Who do you want to top six for the Montreal Canadiens? Josh Anderson, Mike Hoffman, Sakoski,
Maybe one day, but not right now.
right? And so we don't have enough on the top six. What Monahan does, he patch up a hole, and he bring more thing on the game. Now, if you have one Nicholas or anybody in the chat said we have a player like now, he can do exactly what Sherman bring on the table, and in return, you can trade him at the trade deadline to get something in return. If everything turn around to be great, Monahan held right now, Mr. Tap, he was going to get about 60 points this year. What do you think you get at the trade deadline for Monahan?
Yeah, yeah. You'll get a first for him.
Worst case, second round pick, right?
Yeah,
So it's
which
not bad.
is
You risk
it's a
for
bonus,
Sherman
right?
because you nothing at the end of the day.
Exactly, and we already benefited from that once, so it can
Um,
definitely happen again.
People so too small. It's boy is big guy make us. You mind Gary Conway again about that? Because you are forgetting Devorak. If they sign Manuel, they have to move him again. Manuel, it could be a winger Marco for the
Winger,
Montreal Canadiens on the top six. I don't see him as a center. He can use it. And the Montreal Canadiens, the last 2 years, I feel like they have a lot of injury, Mr. Nata. Are you good with me? I think they have a lot of
just a little,
injuries. So
just a
I
little.
think it will patch up someone. It could be Manuel anyway. You think can go there, but. Zelda Pierre Dubois plays 23 games, 60 points, 2I, 18-27, $6.25 million. Ski plays 22 games, 20 minutes per game, 66 points, 7.85 for that one with Emerson Tap. So when you sell Mr. Tap $7 million, you can, for me in my book, Pierre Dubois cannot get over $8 million with the Montreal Canadiens.
No, no. I think over 8 million is way too much.
You're absolutely about
I
that.
mean,
King, I
I'd be
believe with the
willing to
way
go seven
RV
and a half.
Pinal showed this season, I still believe he would be the top horse or the top six player on the second line.
Who?
RHP, do you
Dubois?
consider him a top
Oh,
six?
or no, probably third line. Yeah, I think he's the third liner, unless obviously you have vacancies at the second line position. Then he can play up the line. He can play up the lines, no problem. But to put him there permanently, no.
I'm not sure. That time will tell us because he show us only 33 game, right? I think for me right now is a bubble between the second line and the third line, and he could go up and down like that over there. I think for
Right.
me that would be the best way to describe. So yes, you can pick up some spot over there, but it could be on the third line too. I would not be a problem with that. But RHP brings something on the table what many players Montreal can do. So the time will tell us, but right there. Dubois want to play Montreal. I have no problem again with Pierre Dubois. I will repeat again. No problem. I want to prove it to me. I want him to prove it to me again one more year to see what he can do. And for me, he cannot sign over $8 million. If those conditions are done, you can offer him a contract and the following year after that. I will not trade for him. I will wait. Prove it to me. He can make 75 points per year. He can score 30 goals per year. And then after that, he can sign around $8 million, MEILLESTONES deal for Pierre Dubois.
Time will tell. Remember, we might be giving all this attention, and he doesn't in the end end up being here because who knows? Who knows? Maybe money talks somewhere else. Somebody might be willing to give 9 million. Who knows?
Marco said, MEILLESTONES, RHP Sokiski will rotate on the ski line if they don't get someone else.
Yeah, that's definitely a possibility, provided that the development of Slavkovsky comes along and RHP can produce for more than just the 35 games that he played this year. But in alternating them, that gives you that flexibility for sure.
Yeah, absolutely about that one. Is Dubois next year Huberdeau?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Why not?
I would put. Well, he's a much better player. I Huberto has to be under the right conditions with the right kind of players. And being under Sutter's system was not his cup of tea. I'm telling you. If Sutter is gone this year or next year, then we might see a resurgence in Huberto's numbers. Not at the same level that they were in Florida, because let's face it, when he was with Florida and produced those kind of numbers, he was also playing, with some pretty elite company on that team. They were one of the top offensive teams as well. President trophy winners that year. And that's not the case in Calgary. Dubois is, I think he's more consistent. And I like Huberto. It's not that I'm trying to put him down, but he has to play under certain conditions with certain teams.
Yeah, I would take Huberdeau before Dubois, but uh, because Huberdeau is distribute the puck. If you have to get Huberdeau, you need a sniper, a scorer in your team. A Carfield Huberdeau, that would be amazing.
Yeah, I could see
That
that.
it
Yeah.
distribute the puck a lot. They are not the same quality player. Huberdeau is not a force checker. It's not a physical like a Dubois. Dubois, I think, drive to the net. Huberdeau drive to the net, by the way. But you care about this. One thing I will say to you, Mr. Tap, when you think about Dubois and Huberdeau, until 24 years old, Huberdeau have 69 points, his best season in the NHL with 27 goals, of approximately the same number of Dubois from 18, 19 to 24. Um, both of them. I think Dubois are maybe a couple of points more, but less goal. But my point to you about that is at 25, where he reached 92, 78, 61 and 55, 115 and 80. This year, 55. So the possibility of Dubois right there is there. where he can become that player if he can step up more. Back again, I was said, if he can reach the 70 point, again, you're going to get a player at 20, a 30 goal with 70 point under $8 million. That's a great signature.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's my whole point. If they can get him at that rate, you're going to get more than just points. He will eventually get his numbers at a point per game, but he's going to bring so many more intangibles to this organization that we direly need.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, I will sign him at that level. Again, for me, guys, my only concern in our top is one thing. He have to prove it again next year, and then after that, you sign him. That's the only thing. The only
Yeah,
thing I request. That's the only thing.
yeah, but he's had 2 good years in Winnipeg so far. He had a great playoff run in the bubble against with Columbus when he was there. He was their top point player for Columbus that year. I think what happened in Columbus was really just butting of heads with
Last
Tortorella
year, Winnipeg he had zero
and
goal in a 7 game.
in the
But the year
playoffs.
before that, you have 10 point 10 game with Columbus, like you said.
Yes, yeah, yeah.
But again, it's not a point. The
And
point
so
is not that. I said, I don't want to have a flop player where he pop up 1 year and then he decreasing after that. That's my point behind that. It doesn't. For me, it don't cost nothing to wait 1 more year to get him as a UFA, and he proved it to me he can do this. You sign him, I have no problem with that part. It's not negative
okay.
what I said. What I
No,
said
no,
is
no, no.
I want to see it.
I understand your point, and point well taken. Um, Either way, I would like to see him here. I do carry a little bit of a caution flag in terms of the attitude, but you know what? This guy's always wanted to play here, and how many players? Remember, we had this conversation a long time ago. How many players want to sign with Canadian teams? And we were saying no. Most of them want to go down to Florida. They want to go to LA. They want to go to where the temperature's hot, and you know. And now you have somebody saying, "I want to play in Montreal." Like that's a bonus right there for me.
Would you listen the Flames on top if they trade Ubaldo to Montreal Canadiens?
Not anymore for what he's making.
You're right.
Absolutely. Like look at what he's making now. It's not worth it.
Yeah. Yeah, great. Nicholas, I think I answered to your question. That'd be a good one over there. For the people in the chat, guys, for this, I just put the stat about this. I think I did it. I don't know where is that now. But if you want to join the NHL.com bracket, go on the league called the Ab Nation, Mr. ENORTAP. So did you in already, Mr. ENORTAP?
I haven't been able to log on. I'll be honest with you, Coach. I
Okay.
keep getting error messages, but I will try again either later tonight or
You
tomorrow.
try. You cannot sign in.
No, it won't let me in.
Now you need another website. Forget Pierre Lisbois. Grab. Nobody would be able to talk the guy around with Kings about that. It will be interesting, Mr. Top. What are you going to do? Of course, Montreal. We talk about a subject where Pierre Lisbois not will be ready for next year. I don't think so. Montreal is going to get there. Mr. Top. Tomorrow night is the beginning of the playoff. We're going to a couple of more minutes before we go. Islanders Hurricane tomorrow night, Mr. Top, and we have the Panthers, the Bruins at 7:30 there. And then we have the Kings play the Oilers at 10 o'clock p.m. So, Coach, what do you do? Possible, guys, I go with the one that I don't know yet. I maybe go with one early game, and then I'm going to go to the Kings Oilers. So the King Oilers will be the game we're going to watch a little bit later at 10 o'clock. So I'm not sure yet what I'm going to do, but I'll be live all weeks, Mr.
But we're
Top.
doing something.
We're going to do something. Stay live and come back here. About
Yes.
this. Pierre don't need prove anything to your coach. Come on, the car, I get off here again. And then you're welcome to come back anytime. It's not a problem. I respect your opinion. I hope you can respect my opinion on that part over there. If you're happy with Pierre Dubois, I agree. Thank you. I agree with you. If you like him, for me, again, you need to prove me to get him $8 million. He cannot do it. If he go back next year at 50 points, are you a concern or not, Mr. Natap?
Yes, I would be.
That's my point behind that one about Pierre Dubois. That's the only thing I'm concerned about him. If he can prove it again, he can do it. Not have a problem with that part of there. He has right now I will give you an example for Pierre Dubois, guys. 48 point and 82 game, 61, 49 after that. So he dropped for 61 to 49. He dropped after that, guys, at 21 point 46 game, a 0.5. Then he picked up another year, guys, at 20 point and 41 game, 0.5. He picked up last year 60 point and 81. Now he picked up 63 and 33. That's what I'm looking for. That's what I'm talking about. I want him. Is it a guy can have a great year, a bad year? A great year or bad year? That's what I'm looking for. Consistency with Pierre Dubois. Otherwise, he's a great hockey player.
Yeah.
That's what I see that, in my opinion, about that one there. Mr. Tap, what are you looking for the playoff this year? For the rest of this show, we're going to get 5 more minutes before we leave. What do you expect about the playoff?
Well, it's going to be definitely exciting. I think we've seen one heck of a season where teams have really like just think of some of the highlights that many of the teams have gone through this year, and some of the games that we've seen. We've seen an increase in production of offense by teams. Some great rivalries, and the matchups will not disappoint. Like there's really maybe one or two matchups in the first round that are a little bit more, shall I say, lightweight in terms of excitement, um, but they're gonna be very comparable. There's not many series where you can say this is over in 4 or 5. Possible exception of the Boston game, but I don't think, or Boston series, but I don't think that'll be the case either. We're going to see some excellent, excellent hockey.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. For that, and for me, it's like you have a lot of great. The playoff team number 2 and team number 3 of each division, right? Understanding are really interesting. A lot of great match. We see some kind of rivalities coming back or rematch game. Tampa Bay, Toronto. You have the rivalry, long-time Devils and the Rangers. The rivalry again, rematch between the Kings and the
Edmonton Oilers.
And then you have the Dallas and the Wall, where they are really physical team, and that would be interesting to see that. So a lot of great, and you don't have to discount on the Canes again, the Hurricanes against the Islanders, where Islanders can surprise. Expect a good fight for the Panthers against the Boston Bruins. Mr. Top there. Winnipeg is not going to be easy against the Winnipeg Jet, like you said. I agree with you. I'm not saying I'm against Winnipeg Jet at all. I like that team, but I think they missed a couple of pieces of the puzzle. But he's going to give a lot of big fight over there. The only concern is some people believe on Saddle. I don't see Saddle to be big there, but he can definitely win 1 or 2 games overall. It's just the inexperience of Seattle and the depth they don't have compared to other teams, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's a great matchup for Colorado.
That would be the one over that. Go, leave, go. Douglas put in McDavid through the glass. Run. Coach cannot get in the bracket.
Run is so violent these days.
The 13 rookie is in the house. Will Trussell and McDavid stay in the healthy on the playoff for last year. By the way, Danny, I don't know if you know that, but you're still in the back on this location about this one there. This is me last night. I'm sorry about that. But Danny, you are here right now in the green room. He's still there in the fridge of the green room, Mr. Tap. He'll be there for a couple more days. But you can see how he's look like now, Mr. Tap. Left and Danny in at the right time, Mr. Tap. A catch shot, a World Boston team. Playoff hockey is always great if you like hockey. So he played very well in Colorado, won with Kings. And again, like I said, but there will be a lot of great hockey game, Mr. Tap, this week. We will be live for a couple of games a night. So it will be a busy night for me. But great pleasure, Mr. Nortap. You gave enough of our time for this time of the night on the great Sunday night. It will be, we don't know we'll be back, Mr. Nortap. We have to follow up with everything in NHL first, but we'll definitely come back. And when is the lottery, Mr. Nortap?
May 8th.
May 8th, you're absolutely right about this one there. May 8th is the one. Before we leave, Mr. Tap, what are you looking for the Montreal Canadiens during off season? One thing you're looking for the Montreal Canadiens. You cannot mention Pierre-Luc Dubois.
No, no. I'll tell you what. I've had a strong feeling that we're going to move up in the lottery, and we're going to more than likely get a number 2 seed, and that's going to be Adam Fantilli.
Now, I don't see him right now, but imagine Gary Cournoyer smiling, Mr. Nota.
Absolutely.
Is it the year of the Toronto Maple Leafs? Is it the year of the Edmonton Oilers? Is it the year of the one team in Canada win the Stanley Cup? Those answers are going to be answered. Those questions will be answered in June, Mr. Natap. Until then, we're going to follow the NHL Playoff 2023 very closely with the Hockey National Show. Until then, my friend, we want to thank you so much for all the people in the chat, all the moderators, and each one of you for your respect of everyone, their own opinion. And Hélène, we love you. We love you, Hélène. We want to remind that. Until then, Mr. Natap, you've been always the same guy since the beginning of the year here.
You are awesome. You are amazing. You are the best. And remember, you have greatness inside of you.
What a great night, Mr. Natap, talking about the Montreal Canadiens for one more time. By the way, guys, no warm-up show. We're still waiting for the result, Mr. Natap, of the last week.
Coming soon.
But it's coming very soon. Until then, my friend, we wish you an amazing great night, an amazing great week. And again, more Spook Crank 2023 here on Thailand. Follow my new website. It's called Frenchy and Thailand. Click on the like, watch the video more often. More we watching video, more often they're helping me to get that kind of channel. So until then, my friend, we wish you an amazing great night, great week. Mr. Star, one more time. Be well, be healthy. Finally, not only dominate your day, but finally dominate first half of what?
Year 2023.
He did it again. Have an amazing great night, everybody. Thanks so much, Mr. ENORTAP. I can't wait to see you until the next time.
Good night, everyone.
What do I know?